Township of Edison Zoning Board of Adjustment special meeting of April 28th, 2026 is now in session. Adequate notice of this meeting as required by the Open Public Meetings Act of 1975 has been provided by the annual notice published in the Home News and Tribune on December 4th, 2025, and posted in the main lobby of the municipal complex on December 4th, 2025. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag. Pledge allegiance to the flag.
United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Madam Secretary, roll call, please.
Mr. Carley? Here. Ms. Knight? Here. Mr. Magaleta?
Here.
Mr. Ayotte?
Here.
Mr. Johnny?
Here.
Mr. Cerrito?
Here.
Mr. Patel? Here. Mr. DeVay?
Here.
Mr. Sadaha?
Here.
Vice Chair O'Gorman?
Here.
And Chairman Gumba?
Here.
Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Secretary. Madam Secretary, minutes for consideration.
Minutes of April 21st, 2026 for approval.
What's the board's pleasure?
Motion to approve. Second.
Motion by Vice Chairman O'Gorman, second by Mr. Patel. Roll call, please.
Mr. Johnny?
Here.
Mr. Patel?
Yes to the motion.
Mr. Sadaha?
Yes to the motion.
Vice Chair O'Gorman?
Yes on a motion.
And Chairman Gumba?
Yes on the motion.
Thank you.
Madam Secretary, first resolution for approval.
Z19, 2025, Jessica Lasky for approval.
What's the board's pleasure?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion by Vice Chairman O'Gorman, second by Mr. Patel. Roll call, please.
Mr. Cerrito?
Yes on the motion.
Mr. Patel?
Yes to the motion.
Mr. DeVay?
Yes on the motion.
Mr. Sadaha?
Yes to the motion.
Vice Chair O'Gorman?
Yes on a motion.
And Chairman Gumba?
Yes on the motion.
Thank you.
Second resolution for approval.
Z34, 2023, Mohammed Zubair for approval.
What's the board's pleasure?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion made by Vice Chairman O'Gorman, second by Mr. Sadata. Roll call, please.
Mr. Patel?
Yes to the motion.
Mr. DeVay?
Yes on the motion.
Mr. Sadaha?
Yes to the motion.
Vice Chair O'Gorman?
Yes on a motion.
And Chairman Gumba?
Yes on the motion.
Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Secretary. We have one announcement for this evening, case Z24, 2025, Vivian Pereira at 1651 Woodland Avenue will not be heard this evening. It will be carried to May 12th, 2026. If you're here for this case, Z24, 2025, Vivian Pereira, it will be heard on Tuesday, May 12th, 2026, with a meeting beginning at 7 p.m. here in council chambers. If you received a notice, you will not receive another notice. This will serve as your notice. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is a special meeting of the Township of Edison Zoning Board of Adjustment. The board is composed of Edison Township residents appointed by the Municipal Council who volunteer their time and service to the board. The municipal land use law requires that members successfully complete a land use training course administered by the New Jersey Department of Community Affairs. This board also holds in-house training conducted by our board professionals. The zoning board abides by the provision of the municipal land use law in addition to our board's bylaws. The zoning board is a quasi-judicial land use board which differs from the township planning board. Under the municipal land use law, board members are required to be impartial and are not allowed to discuss any case prior to being considered at a hearing. All applicants will have the opportunity to present their case before the board, along with the opportunity for board members and board professionals to question the applicant and their witnesses. At the conclusion of the applicant's presentation of their case, the case will open to the public. Residents within 200 feet of the subject site will be heard, followed by residents from outside of 200 feet. All residents will be sworn in, they'll provide their name and address, and be given 5 minutes to comment on the application being considered without the opportunity for rebuttal. Residents may ask questions of the applicant's professionals, and board professionals. The board requests that these questions are asked prior to any commentary being made on the application. Once commentary begins, the resident's timer will begin. The applicant will be allowed the opportunity for cross-examination of their witnesses. Under the law, the chair is allowed to stop any commentary which is repetitive or attempt to filibuster the board. Further, the chair is allowed to stop any commentary that is irrelevant to the case or prohibited from the board's consideration. Once the public portion is closed, all public comments are ended unless new testimony is presented by the applicant. Following the closure of the public portion, the applicant will have the right of summation on their application. Following summation, the case will go to the board for a decision. This procedure has been followed by the board and is similar to procedures followed by boards of adjustment statewide. The municipal land use law requires the board to engage in a balancing act. It is not required to strictly apply township ordinances, zoning plan, or master plan. As a board of adjustment, variances are granted when appropriately necessary, following all legal considerations. As has been the case with prior boards, this board will see where we're at if we are still in session around 10:30 p.m. I ask that all applicants, professionals, and residents show respect to each other and be civil throughout all proceedings. I ask that you withhold applause, booing, or interrupting anyone while they are speaking. The chair will not tolerate outbursts by applicants, professionals, or the public. Further, since most cases are being recorded by a court reporter, I ask that speakers do not speak over one another. Madam Secretary, first case on the agenda, please.
Case number Z31, 2025, Tanuja Adiani at 110 Calvert Ave East. Applicant is seeking bulk variance to construct an addition to the existing single-family dwelling. The following standards have not been met. Maximum coverage by building required is 23%, proposed is 28%. Affected property is located in the RB zone, designated as block number 979, lot number 5.02 on the Edison Township tax map. All noticing paperwork is in order.
Good evening, Mr. Shire.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. For the record, my name is Bernard Shire, the firm of Convery and Shire, representing Tanuja Adiani and Satish Girotra with regard to the home they purchased at 110 Calvert Avenue East, Block 979, Lot 5.02 in the RB zone. Presently, this is a vacant, single-family, one-story home. What we are proposing is an addition replacing the deck and in the area of the kitchen and part of the bedroom. The addition is proposed because in this fashion, because while my clients could go up, they need to stay single story because of certain disability of one of the family members, and also when the older parents come to visit, they can't do stairs. The variance sought is for building coverage. It is relatively minor. Instead of 23%, we're looking for 28%. And once again, we need the addition to be on the first floor. I have Mrs. Adiani here to testify as to why they need to stay single story, and have our architect and planner here to testify as well. Unless there are any preliminary questions by the board, I'm ready to proceed.
Mr. Shire, I have a preliminary question. So I have a denial of a zoning application, excuse me, dated August 28th, 2025, and it's to Tony Gorham. And then we have a stop construction order for November 25th, 2025, that lists the applicant. Can you shed some light on this discrepancy between these names?
What are you,
The denial of a zoning application?
right?
So this is addressed to Tony Gorham
Gorham?
for 110 Calvert Avenue East.
Oh, that's the contractor.
That's a contractor?
That was the contractor who
Okay.
came in.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Board,
Sure.
Mr. Ayotte.
We also have some.
Mr. Ayotte, if you could speak on the microphone, please.
We have some pending matters concerning outstanding summonses.
Yeah, that's correct. Those are being listed in court after this hearing in order that we can cure any problems that existed.
I'm not quite following you. What do you mean? I sent them 2 summonses.
Right.
And they haven't appeared in court, or
We've already entered pleas of not guilty, and we are appearing. This court hearing has been adjourned.
okay, I
after
have
this
not
hearing.
had, the court has not contacted me on that matter. But they were denied a permit, and then they continued work. They started.
That was that's correct, and that was without the knowledge of my client. The contractor obviously came in and
gutted the house without the
started
homeowner
work
knowing
without
about it?
started work without they did. My clients didn't live there, so obviously they were sort of victimized.
So there's Mr. Satish
What was it,
Giatra.
Gorham? Is that
Giatra.
No, he's the husband.
Okay, so you're
That-
saying he's coming to court? He's
No,
been-
well, he's summoned to court. He's one of the owners of the property. The 2 of them own the property.
Okay. So there has been no work going on the house?
No, not since it was stopped.
Okay, okay. All right. No further questions.
Thank you, Mr. Ayotte. You may proceed.
Thank you. Call Mrs. Ariani.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Tanuja Adiani. I am the owner of 110.
Hold on a second, please. I have to swear you in. Can you please raise your right hand? Do you swear or affirm the testimony you'll give this evening is the whole truth?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. State your full name for the record, please, and spell it.
Tanuja Adiani, Tanuja Adiani.
Go ahead.
Mrs. Adiani, you presently reside at 30 Jersey Avenue in Edison.
I do, yes.
How far is that from 110 Calvert Avenue East?
It's about a half a mile.
Right, and you and your husband purchased the property at 110 Calvert Avenue?
Correct, we did.
And why did you want to buy that house and live there?
We loved the neighborhood. It's a great community. We wanted to stay in the neighborhood. Our first home we purchased in 2018, and we've been looking for our second home because our current home doesn't have room to grow. Both my children have an elementary schooler and a middle schooler. We need room, and we needed some place that didn't have stairs, given some health problems in the family. We also have parents to come and stay, so we needed room. We found the 110 property. It was enough room to build a ranch or to use the ranch, add the addition. We love the neighborhood. We thought it was the right place to be.
And you're seeking, the only variance you're seeking is for building coverage on the property because you need to stay at one story instead of going up.
Correct. My understanding from our architect is that if we did go up, we wouldn't need any variances, but my family's needs are different, so we're here.
I have no other questions of Mrs. Adiani.
Does the board have any questions of Mrs. Adiani?
Yeah, Mr. Chairman,
Mr. Dave?
couple of questions. When did you buy this property?
May 2nd of last year.
And is this going to be your primary residence?
It is, yes.
You're going to move in from wherever you are living now?
Correct. With the reason we couldn't move in is because there were cracks in the basement. And we were told by our contractor that it was unsafe to live there. So we couldn't move in.
You are currently living in that neighborhood?
Yeah, we're living at 30 Jersey Avenue, which is a half a mile away from the property.
Okay, and then the application was denied for the zoning, and that was done as of August of last year.
Correct. So by the time we got architect drawings and we hired a contractor, we got a bank involved, became August. Our contractor filed for permits. That's when we came to know that we had a variance.
So the stop work order was issued on December?
No, November.
So you started work, even though zoning permit was denied, you started work there?
I hired legal licensed contractors approved by the bank. I travel for my work, and my husband has a bad back. He can't really, manage everything and visit the property very often. We pass the property every day on our way to school to drop off our elementary schooler, and we didn't see anything that would suggest that there was actually work going on. The only thing we did, tell the contractor, his ask of us was, can I start removing some internal structures, which is not going to need permits? I'm not a contractor. I don't know the laws. I assumed that if he was asking for it and he was bank approved, that it was okay. That's the only thing I approved.
Is he a licensed contractor?
He certainly is, sir.
New Jersey State licensed contractor, and he doesn't know that he can't work without a permit.
Right.
He still did.
That is my understanding, yes.
Did he file for the permit after the fact or no?
I believe after that we told him not to do anything. I just said, look, stop everything. We've received these summons. He received the first summon, I think, and he kept it to himself. It wasn't sent to us or it was sent to him directly. And because I travel, we didn't get notification until, then we got Skip involved and he explained the whole process to us.
Have permit on file, Mr. Ayat?
There is no permit on file, so
Not even application.
no applications. We have nothing.
I'm sorry, when I hand it off to a contractor, I'm assuming they know what to do. I'm no idea what they're doing. Our architect turned in drawings as was requested, so we did that. That's what he asked for. And then the next thing we know is we're receiving summons a few months later.
I'm just curious, like, you received a summons, was in Giatra's name, Satish? I don't-
Yes, my husband.
Okay. How come no one came to my office or came to
We
court?
contacted Skip. I didn't know what to do.
And we entered pleas of not guilty in court and asked that it be
They
adjourned.
didn't, wait, how could they enter pleas in court if they didn't come to court?
Do it by mail in municipal court.
No, okay. Okay, Skip, you're the attorney.
Or too long, maybe, but
I
that's how you
understand.
do it.
You're a good attorney, too, may I add. But, so this is my first time seeing you, and it's kind of hard to understand how a house could be completely gutted, everything taken out of it, insulation, sheetrock, wires, everything, pipe. You had two 30-yard dumpsters out in the street, out in the driveway, and you weren't aware that,
There was no dumpster in the driveway before we got the summons. We actually paid for those dumpsters once.
there's a
we-
dumpster.
Correct. Those happened to come out after we received the summons, and we insisted that all of the debris be cleared up. The timing of that is going to be December, sir.
You insisted? I'm sorry? I didn't-
Yeah,
I
we
didn't-
told our contractor that he had to get the debris cleared out after we got the
Yeah,
summons.
the township demanded that before they have any hearing before the zoning board, that all the debris be cleaned up off the property. And that was done.
No, that dumpster, that 30-yard dumpster was full when we went there to stop the job. So it wasn't as a result of someone from another department telling you to clean the job. We don't want anyone on the property when we stop a job. That's the whole purpose of stopping a job. No one is allowed on the property other than the homeowner. So we didn't tell them to clean the job.
Sir, I had no idea there was a dumpster on the property. Not that I wasn't there, I traveled quite a bit, like I've mentioned, but I have no idea that there was a dumpster on the property before we received the legal summons.
You live close by though, right?
We do, but I only
Don't pass
passed the
by this
front.
house?
We passed by the front, and we did not see a dumpster, sir. If we had, we
Not
would
see
have
the work
questioned
going
it.
on, you did not see demo going on, you did not see,
The house
dumpster.
looks totally, I'm so sorry. Go ahead.
did not see dumpster, you did not see any activities there.
There's nothing that showed there was anything going on from the front.
Right, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Stavi. Ma'am, are you still retaining the same contractor?
At the moment, we don't have a choice until we get to the permit stage, and the lender is then notified. Only then can we go and change contractors.
Okay. And then also, within this packet, there are photos. Are these photos that you produced, or, Mr. Ayotte, was this something that your office had produced?
I did not produce those. I have a copy of mine. Pardon? Pat Leary did,
Okay,
construction.
okay. All right, thank you.
And for the record, who's Pat Leary?
She's the head technical assistant for the construction department.
Thank you.
I'd let the record reflect that Mr. Chabra has arrived. Does the board have any questions for Mrs.
Mr.
Adiani?
Chairman?
Vice Chairman?
What's the date of these pictures?
You'd have to ask Mr. Ayotte.
Oh, I'm just asking a question. What's the date?
That would be, Mr. Chairman, that would be December 9th, 2025.
Thank you.
And the summons was issued January 16th, 2026.
Mr. Ayotte, the stop work order that we have is November 25th, 2025.
What's the date you have, I'm sorry?
November 25th, 2025. It's signed by the construction official on December 5th, 2025.
Okay, yes. That would be, is the UCC, that would have been signed by John Soltes. He's the
Correct.
construction official.
Correct. Okay. Does the board have any other questions for Mrs. Adiani? Seeing none. Mr. Shire?
Thank you. Called Mr. let me get his name, make sure I get his name right. Ron Kesmarski. Mr. Kazmarski is being offered as an architect.
Hello, I'm Ron Kazmarski, the architect.
Please raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you'll give this evening is the whole truth?
I do.
Okay, thank you. Please state your full name and spell it for the record.
Ronald Kazmarski, last name K-A-C as in cat, M-A-R-S-K-Y.
Mr. Kazmarski, you have appeared before the board prior. If you could please give us the benefit of a summary of your background and qualifications, please.
Yes, I've had appeared before. I attended New Jersey Institute of Technology for Architecture, received my architectural degree, was licensed since 1997 and practicing architecture in New Jersey since then, and have probably hundreds of submissions to Edison through the years. And testified.
License is current in good standing?
Yes.
You may proceed. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Kazmarski, could you briefly describe for the board the condition of the property as it exists and what the proposal is?
Okay, so currently, and I will show you the floor plan that you have already reviewed, but basically.
What's the sheet number on that, please, on the floor plan?
The two sheets I'm going to refer to is the A1, which is the proposed construction plan, and then I'm also going to talk about the D1, which was the demo plan, which would show the existing configuration of the house.
And both of those have been submitted already to this board?
And they have.
Okay.
And then a T1, which is an overall site plan, which shows the addition. So essentially, the current configuration of the house had a void in the back left corner.
Mr. Kazmarski, if you'd like to take the microphone with you and come up,
Yep.
that's perfect. You don't have to stay in the chair.
Okay.
Just, yeah, you can.
Much easier, much easier.
Yeah, you could. Whoever's easel that is, they'll gladly lend it to you.
Yeah, you can use it.
Got to give it back, though.
Said lend.
Okay, so
You can
the
come up.
back left corner of the house, bring it forward.
Yeah, so the board can actually see it.
He's good.
So the existing configuration of the house is this area,
And what sheet is that, please? Just identify the sheet. It's D1?
and this is D1.
Okay,
Correct.
continue.
And currently, there's a deck which occupies most of this space. And my design for the owners is a residential addition for additional space in the house, which I'll go over the proposed rooms,
And now you're talking about sheet A1, correct?
and sheet A1,
Okay.
correct. So what we did is we filled in essentially the void, which is in the back left corner of the house. The design of the house needed to be on the first floor for the health reasons of the owners. So what we did is we maintained the existing front yard setback, existing rear yard setback, existing side yard setbacks, did not go over the height allowances, and filled in this area. It did trigger a building coverage variance. Floor area ratio is okay. So essentially, the existing house had, and we'll jump back to the D1, had 3 bedrooms and living, kitchen, dining. And the proposed addition has 4 bedrooms, 1, 2, 3, 4, and an office. So the addition will include a larger family living space, an additional bedroom, and an office. And what we did have is an additional, again, we're over on the building coverage, which I think we were 23%, and this goes up to 28%. If we design the addition to go up, not being over the floor area ratio, we would have accomplished this design over 2 stories and no variances. So really just making it on 1 floor, that's really what put us over the building.
Does the board have any questions for Mr. Kazmarski?
Mr. Chairman?
Who's that? I can't see.
Yeah,
Oh, Mr. Stada.
Anything in the basement?
Okay, What we did do, which I'm going to refer to the T1. So this is the site plan, and although it's a small scale, you can see the configuration of the house. This two-toned area here shows what's the existing deck, and again, the area of the addition in the corner of the house. In the center of the house, there's an area with a crawl space, and it did have some foundation issues, which is part of the reason why they didn't initially occupy the house. So in fixing those foundation issues, decided to underpin and make that additional basement area. So technically, the expansion also includes additional basement in this area of the house.
Are you proposing to finish the basement?
No.
So just be as
It's
is?
storage, right?
Absolutely, okay. All right.
Bedroom, no bathroom.
No. Oh, was the proposal to finish the basement? No, at this point, it's just to create additional basement area.
That's it.
Any other questions from the board?
Mr. Chair, I have a question.
Mr. Chopper?
So currently with the dumpsters that were shown in the pictures, lots of soil was exported. Is the underpinning done or what's the status on that?
No, so I should add, during this process, and I know with working with the owner and then actually getting a call from John Soltis, who I know, which as everything unfolded, is I'm familiar with the owner preparing the plans, and her intention was obviously hiring me, signing, sealing plans, anticipating submittal to the township, and hiring a contractor. So we all were surprised when the contractor, who was doing some demolition in the house, cleaning up as he submitted. So I think in his mind, he submitted the plans, he started some demolition. So he went and demoed, and I guess, and I didn't really see it, but I guess trying to work with that existing crawl space, taking some dirt out. I don't know that he was constructing anything, but he did create, he did do demolition. He had a lot, I thought at the time, he put it in the yard. And one thing I heard initially was, what's going on? There's no permit release there yet, and there's garbage in the yard, and it really needs to be cleaned up, and this work needs to stop. So I did hear that during that process.
So where does it stand as of now?
So they stopped immediately. So he did some demolition in the house, and he did do some cleanup of the existing foundation that was not proper in the house. And from what I understand, there was a lot of debris in the yard that subsequently got put into a dumpster, and I'm not sure if the dumpsters are gone. They're gone now. Yeah, so that it got cleaned up. So, but once the town said stop, everything stopped.
Okay, so right now in the basement with the photographed dumpster, that's a 30-yard dumpster that's filled to the top of soil. So that whole basement, imagine that dumpster in the basement excavated out. So the question is, like, what's the basement standing on right now? Is it standing on a new foundation that was designed by the plans, or is it on strut towers? Like, what are we looking at right now if you were to go right now in the basement?
So there's existing foundation.
Okay.
And then removal, I guess excavating to create additional depth to line up with the existing basement. So my assumption is there's existing foundation walls, a crawl space that was existing, and then additional excavation.
Got it.
So the supports around that area are fine. It's just when you're going from a crawl to a basement, you're going to remove dirt.
Okay.
So he, tried to get a jump start on that, and he shouldn't have.
Okay, but the sides are not pinned right now. They didn't start that process.
Nope, did
Okay.
not, yeah.
All right. Thank you.
Any other questions?
So for the basement, what is the total square footage going to be when it's done?
So the area that's going from crawl to basement is 22.5 wide and I don't have the measurement on here, I would say approximately 25. So approximately 22 by 25 area. that will go from crawl to basement.
Any other questions for Mr. Kozmarski? Seeing none. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Ms. Shar.
Thank you. Call Mr. DuPont.
We'll leave this up. I'll leave the site plan for you.
Please raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you'll give this evening is the whole truth?
I do.
Okay, please state your full name and spell it for the record.
John P. DuPont, D-U-P-O-N-T.
Mr. DuPont, you appeared before the board prior. If you could please give us a summary of your background qualifications.
Certainly. So I am a licensed professional engineer and planner. Before you today as a professional planner. Licensed in the state of New Jersey. I've acted as the Planning and Zoning Board engineer and planner for the borough of Carteret for the past 28 years. I've been throughout the state and applications, including this board, both as a planner and as an engineer.
Your license are current and good standing?
They are.
We'll accept you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. DuPont, you've been retained by the applicant to give the planning testimony regarding this application and variance, correct?
That is correct.
All right. Did you have an opportunity to check out the property?
I certainly have.
Could you please give the board the results of your observations?
Absolutely. So we're talking about 110 Calvert Street, and that again is block 979, lot 5.02 in the RB zone. So as you heard, it's an existing single-family, one-story dwelling, approximately 2,300 square feet is a ranch on the property. The applicant's proposing to construct an 800 square foot addition to the rear of the property. Basically, we'll square off the home as the architect just showed you. The addition will be in the total rear of the property, not visible from the front yard. It will meet all side rear yard setbacks. The only relief needed for this project is in fact a building coverage where 23% is allowed, 28% is proposed. The proposed dwelling with the addition will be 3,142 square feet total. The applicant's proposing the renovations and the addition to the home to accommodate their family needs. A key component of the design is the expansion of the first floor living area, which is necessary due to a medical limitations of the applicant that restricts the mobility and requires the primary living functions to occur on the first floor. There is no FAR variance requested. This isn't a case where the applicant wants as large of a home as they could have on the property. This is a case where, due to medical necessity, the applicant needs a functional first floor. Again, the variance required is simply the maximum allowable building coverage, 23% allowed. We are at 28. The relief can be granted, I believe, under both the C1 and C2 criteria. If we look at the C1 hardship first, under the C1 criteria, the hardship arises from both the conditions of the property and unique circumstances of the applicant. The existing home and lot configuration limits the ability to expand while remaining within the strict building coverage limits. At the same time, the applicant has a legitimate and compelling need to reconfigure and expand the first floor to accommodate a family member. This creates a situation where strict compliance with the ordinance would prevent reasonable and necessary use of the property, specifically the ability to safely and practically reside in the home. In my opinion, this constitutes a valid hardship. It also qualifies under C2 hardship. C2 flexible C. The particular application is well suited under the C2 criteria by providing a safe and functional living environment tailored to the needs of the family and specifically the family with medical restrictions. It allows the occupants to be in a single-family home setting rather than seeking alternative housing. It's promoting the appropriate use of a residential property, advancing the general welfare, which is recognized as the purpose of zoning. This is not simply an expansion for convenience. It is a necessity-driven design solution. The planning benefits of accommodating accessibility on the first floor clearly outweigh any minimal detriment associated with the increase in building coverage.
Could you please be more specific as to what is the community benefit for this?
It keeps a property in a residential community, single-family residential community, consistent with that. We are not exceeding the height, the floor area ratio, the size. We're building something very consistent, and will look exactly like it does today, the same exact development. Design and impact. The necessity of first floor expansion, because the required living space must be located on the first floor, and the applicant cannot simply build upward and remain compliant. As a result, a modest increase in building coverage is functionally unavoidable to meet the medical needs of this household. The requested building coverage represents a limited and reasonable increase from 23 to 28%. It's a total increase in only 800 square feet, which from the street will not be seen. As you've seen by the architectural plans, the addition is tucked behind the existing ranch. It meets the rear yard setbacks, the side yard setbacks, height setbacks. The addition is being designed to primarily be in the rear, won't be seen from the street, maintain all the existing streetscape, maintain light, air, open space. Such an increase in coverage will have minimal visual impact and will remain consistent with the characteristic of the neighborhood. And we did look at homes within 200 and 300 feet of the existing property. We found that within 200 feet of the property, again, using Google Earth as an estimate, 5 existing homes exceed the building coverage currently. Within 300 feet, we found 12. Just to give you an idea, we do meet the neighborhood. It's consistent. Now, despite the increase in building coverage, the property will continue to provide adequate light, air, and open space, outdoor use, preserving the overall intent of the zoning ordinance.
Mr. Dupont? So the the building coverage is going from 25% up to 28%. The lot coverage is going from 35.3% to 37%, is that correct?
I think that's not correct.
Oh, no, I'm sorry.
We're complying with
You're
that.
complying, so so it's under 37%. Okay, thank you, I'm sorry, I apologize.
And Mr. Dupont, can this one variance be granted without any substantial impairment of the zone plan and zoning ordinance, without any substantial detriment to the public good?
Absolutely.
And in light of the fact that you can't see the addition from the street, is it fair to say that this variance is relatively de minimis under the circumstances?
I would agree with that statement.
I have no other questions of Mr. Dupont.
Does the board have any questions for Mr. Dupont?
Mr. Chairman,
Mr. Dave?
so this RB zone, the maximum FAR allowed is what?
I will have to look.
So according to the FAR certification, maximum allowed FAR is 44%. They're coming in at 27.9%.
Chairman, I'm sorry, I didn't get the document, but
Okay, so, Mr. Chairman,
Mr. Dave?
if this application gets approved with the hardship, would you be ready to consider condition that in future, if you come for any addition to this house, you will not seek any variance to go more than 44%? Would that be a condition?
Absolutely.
No variance for FAR whatsoever?
We will not seek anything unless we come before this board.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Dave. Any other questions, Mr. Dupont?
I have a question, Mr.
Mr. Ayotte?
So you're going through this type of construction to convert a crawl space into a full basement. Will this be full basement height?
It will be full height.
It'll be full height. Will it be heated? Will it be conditioned space?
No.
It will not be heated, will not be conditioned space. So you're going to have a 7-foot basement. You want to go through this expense for a 7-foot basement for boxes, for storage, for front, right? It will not be used habitable space. It will not be used for no bathrooms, nothing at all.
Absolutely. Absolutely not.
I'm sorry, Skip?
Absolutely not.
Mr. Kozmarski, you're going to have to get on microphone if you're going to.
So the existing crawl, there's foundation problems in the existing crawl, so that prompted repair. And with the repair, it's adjacent to a basement. And currently, there's no proposal for finishing or adding bathroom or bedroom, but there currently is a bathroom in the existing area. So, okay, so the existing area is finished. So the proposed area is in the basement area is approximately an 8-foot ceiling.
Okay, that's like the biggest storage basement I've ever seen in town. I'm a retired mason contractor, and I can tell you, that's an extremely expensive fix for some cracks in the foundation wall.
So with this design and that basement area, there would be no restrictions to, finish that area.
That's what I'm asking the board.
Yeah, there would be. So in that area with the given height that it would be habitable space, and it would,
There'd be restrictions if the board set restrictions.
if the board set restrictions, right?
Would you agree to restrictions if that's not going to be habitable space?
Well, I
The
think,
applicant- the
I
applicant-
could tell you the restriction would definitely be not to create space to put us over the floor area ratio, but
Basements aren't included in floor area ratio.
they are not. Yeah. Yeah.
They're not
So
included
I
in
would
the-
say that, given that it's an 8-foot space, and it would, and it's adjacent to finished basement area, I would say it probably would not be a good restriction. My recommendation would be not to have a restriction to limit that space, given the size of that house and the basement being there. I think the structural repairs for the crawl weren't much different, other than excavation of dirt to work with the existing depth of the foundation that was adjacent to it. So I would say my recommendation would be not to limit use of that area. And I think the variance that we're seeking is really the building coverage upstairs. So if in creating that area, it would really be a submission to the building department to finish that area with whatever appropriate finishes. It would not be a variance for us to seek that area to be finished. So, but in the future, if we do propose to finish that area, we would have to submit to the building department, but not the variance board.
I just, Mr. Chair, I just have some serious questions that, after submitting an application, the application is clearly denied. And then a month later, the work starts. The whole house, it's not just some demolition, the house was completely gutted. Everything was thrown out into the dumpster, excavated all around the rear yard. 30-yard dumpster is full. They live a half mile away and didn't know that the contractor was doing the work. It's kind of hard to believe, for me, I'm speaking only to you and myself here. It's kind of hard to believe that this basement at some point in time in the future may not have plans to be finished. So,
Yeah, I would assume the intention is
finish.
Definitely to finish it.
Okay.
Which is kind of not related to our request for the variance, but
It definitely pertains to the scope of work.
Understanding the scope of the work is, I would assume 100% that ultimately gets finished.
Homeowners raising their hand, but go ahead.
You're going to have to switch microphones with Mr. Kuzmarski.
Sorry. Sure.
Sure. Go on.
Thing, with your permission. Can you let me know the date of the picture of the dumpster? I mean, I can't believe that I drove past there and didn't see a dumpster. I understand what you're saying, and it's hard for me to believe too.
I show you the
But,
picture. It's a full
yeah, but if you
30-yard
could give me a
dumpster.
date,
Whatever
that
the
would
date
be.
was, that's not the point. The point is that the work
Yeah, you guys be-
began and was started without a permit. That's the point.
I absolutely agree with you. I'm not disagreeing with you. But when we were notified that there was an issue as a homeowner.
We
we
sent you a
insisted-
summons.
Well, we insisted that the contractor stop all the work, and to our knowledge, that's when the dumpsters were mandated by the permit group, by
No.
John
the
Solstice.
No, that's not,
Two.
that might be to your knowledge, but that's not what happened.
If I could just get a confirmation on when that picture was taken, it would help me, because I find it very hard to believe, too, that I'm driving past and I don't see a dumpster in the driveway. It makes me look inept. So, and the other thing is the basement that the crawl space, our plans include a bathroom. So there is already a bathroom in the space. We're just, there is a plan to take some of that space and put the bathroom there. So I just want to let you know that that's in our plans. So I don't know, bathroom counts is finished, I think, just clarifying that.
Mr. Chairman,
Vice Chairman.
on clarification, on drawing A1 dated 6/6/2025 on the proposed basement floor plan, you have a proposed bathroom?
Ms. Kuzmarski, you're going to have to grab a microphone.
Chair, just as the board's considering this, I haven't been involved in the conversation, but there's two things the board may want to consider is the Edison's definition of floor area ratio, which is specific to Edison. And it's Edison's ordinance is pretty tight, right? It generally excludes unfinished basements and attics from the floor area ratio calculation. But the exclusion doesn't really mention habitable spaces. That doesn't really. It doesn't make the classification of habitable spaces. Habitable spaces, as defined by the Uniform Construction Code, those are areas intended for daily living activities, bedrooms, living rooms, kitchens, and dining rooms. Other things like bathrooms, toilets, closets, halls, storage are not included as habitable for UCC. So, Mr. Architect, you're going to describe to the board the difference between UCC and what the ordinance intentions were versus the language of the ordinance. Mr. Scheer is going to determine on the fly whether he needs relief from the floor area ratio ordinance, because right now I'm hearing that you don't need relief from the floor area ratio ordinance.
Yeah, we do not need relief from that.
Okay, so
and-
just make the distinction, and you did prepare the floor area ratio calculation certification sheet and submitted it to the good-looking people down at the end of that, on the dais, right?
Yes.
Okay, and
we're
everyone
under-
found everything to be in order?
Yeah, and we're significantly under the allowable floor area ratio. And that's because there's no second floor.
Are you counting whatever the application is now? Are you counting that floor area ratio, the basement square feet in the floor area ratio or not?
I would have to look at the worksheet. Do we?
Can you? No.
Yeah, I think we're,
Yeah.
It's not included there. No. Yeah. Habitable attics and basements are not included in that.
Correct. Up to 2/3 of that.
No. Just don't go there. Just habitable attics. Sure.
so we have 2,800 square feet. Let's see, we are. Right, so where 44% is allowable, we're at 27%.
No, I get it, but 27%, does that include the basement square feet now or not?
That includes, so I guess in Edison, the garages count?
Garages count. Habitable attics count, but not uninhabitable attics and not basements.
And what about basements with finished rooms? Right, so I didn't include that in the calculation.
You're making it habitable basement.
Even if it's a finished basement, it wouldn't count.
Correct.
So currently, they have an area that's finished, that's right here. This would not,
If they add the basement, bedroom and kind of stuff, it doesn't become habitable?
Yes, it does become habitable, but
Mr. Dava, if you could just be in the microphone, please, for the court reporter.
give me the FAR.
so currently, this area here is a finished area in the basement, which was not included in my floor area ratio calculation. There is a current bathroom there, which is existing. The bathroom's been modified to improve the area of the bathroom. It's actually slightly bigger than the square footage of the bathroom that exists. This is the area here that has been added as additional basement space. This also would not be included in the floor area ratio, and there would be no bedrooms in the lower level, so it would not trigger.
Basements are not included, Ron.
Yeah,
Just
it's just not, yeah, so.
Finished or
that sheet-
unfinished?
That 27% is accurate on the plan, on that.
habitable attics are included. Uninhabitable are not.
Thanks, Jim. Yep.
Right.
So how much work is done now for the basement? Did you do the
No,
foundation or
all-
just the excavation? only?
Excavation only.
The full basement is excavated now, but no foundation?
I don't know if it's totally excavated. He
don't
got
believe it
stopped.
is.
No, he got stopped. When he-
Devendra, I don't believe
And I will say that-
excavation is completed. It's not completed.
And I did ask, and I spoke to John Soltis, so the contractor did take my plans, submit them, obviously anticipating a permit, and started the work. So it's I guess it's worse to start the work with no permit and no submission of permit, but he submitted it and started the work and before the release.
But there's a letter of denial on those plans. Is that correct? Is that the same plans that we're talking
Right.
about? So he got denied, but then he still submitted it?
Well, no, he submitted, started work, then got denied.
So he got denied.
No, sir, no.
I think the
He was
timeline's messed up.
denied.
He was
They received a clear denial to
Okay.
start or do the work.
And he started after that? Oh, okay.
Correct, yeah, he
didn't know
started
that.
after that.
Oh, I
And
didn't know that. Okay.
We've had no contact with the contractor, no contract with the homeowner, none. No one came to our office to explain to us, and I put my phone number down, contact us, please, so we can rectify the situation. Never received anything. But I take Mr. Shire's word that they pleaded not guilty to the court, but I received nothing. So that's, that's
So
what it is.
Right, we're two things happening in tandem. The
I know,
solution
Ronald.
for that, and then the request. I got you.
Okay, so since Mr. Kosmarski has a microphone, does anybody have any questions for Mr. Kosmarski from the board? Seeing none. Okay, so then you could hand the microphone back to Mr. Dupont, and we'll check with him. Mr. Dupont, do you have anything to add?
Now, plan testimony is complete.
Okay, so do anybody have any, from the board, have any additional questions for Mr. Dupont? Seeing none. Thank you, Mr. Dupont. Ms. Shire, do you have anything to add?
Not unless there are some questions from the public.
Okay, so we'll now go out to the public. Anyone within 200 feet of the subject site want to be heard? If you're within 200 feet of the subject site, you receive a notice via certified mail, sir. If you could please approach. And our,
I might ask it, maybe they move the easel just so I can see.
Yeah, hold on, we'll get it out.
thank you, sir. Okay, sir, so if you are going to ask any questions of the applicant or the witnesses, please ask them first. And then once you start commentary, you have 5 minutes to speak. Once your commentary starts, your timer will begin. And our attorney will swear you in.
If you make comment, I have to swear you in. Are you guys questions or make comment right now? What do you want to
Ask you a
do?
question, because I have a procedural question.
Of course.
My name is Brett Schildkraut. I live at 112 Calvert Avenue East. So
Spell your name, please.
Brett, B-R-E-T-T, Schildkraut, S-C-H-I, L as in Lima, I as in S-C-H-I, L as in Lima, D as in Delta, K-R-A-U-T. I live at 112 Calvert Avenue East, adjacent to the property. Yeah, before my time starts, I just want to say, this case was on the agenda for December 2025, and it was carried to a later date with notice required. And I found out about this case tonight because I saw Mr. Dupont walking around the backyard. I was not given formal notification. So I'm requesting that the case be adjourned so that my attorney has had ample opportunity to review this matter. I will also say that while I've been sitting here, I heard from one of my neighbors at 106 Calvert Avenue East that they too have not been served. So I know this says proper notification has been, given, but I have not received it, nor from my neighbors, and so
So Council, do you have proof of service? I know you're looking at this.
We submitted the certified mailing proof from the post office, which
Do you
is
s-
what we're required to do.
Do you see his name on on those sheets?
It's 112.
112. You would have had it for December, but you will not have it for now.
And you said you have counsel, you've engaged counsel in this regard?
I will, yes.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, and I found out about this because I saw Mr. DuPont on the
No,
property.
understood.
Came over.
Yep.
This is rather indicative of the way things have been progressing, apparently.
He's not on the 200 floor.
The list we received
Okay.
from the township.
Who is your neighbor that also did not receive service? Do you have the name?
106, I don't have the last name, but the first name is Alfonso.
Okay.
Maybe the apt question is, did anybody receive?
.106 is on the list. Lanza?
But there's an allegation that they did not receive service. You have the green card or the return receipt, I mean, excuse me?
The Yeah, we have 106. We have a receipt from the post office.
What's the date?
Dated, it was all done on February 12th, 2026.
Hold on one second, please.
Alfonso and Carmela Lanza.
Okay, we're just going to take a quick break. Chair had to take a phone call.
Motion. Second. All agree?
Yeah. Aye.
No opposed? All right, thank you. Approved.
I wonder if he's the owner of the property.
The board will return to session. Please take all outside conversations outside of the council chamber.
We're going to.
Yeah, so in light of this concern regarding a notice, and I think there may have been an error with respect to the 200-foot list, and the fact that Mr. Schildhart, am I saying your name correct?
Schildkraut.
Schildkraut, excuse me, was hired counsel, and his neighbor was not aware of this. I think it'd be appropriate if we carry this for one session. I understand your client wants to get moving on this, but at the same time, and you have this court date you have to deal with, you know, there's a bit of a mess up here, and I don't know that we could just say that we should just plow through.
Well, I mean, it's in the board's discretion. In fairness to the applicant, we did notify every property owner on the list we were given.
Well, I understand that, and I think it'd be appropriate too to get another 200-foot list. Make sure that everybody on the second notice that you sent out make sure confirm that everybody on this list is complete, and then we should have the hearing. Was May 12th is the next date?
Madam Secretary?
We could offer May 19th as the next date, because he'd need time to renotice, if
Okay.
there was renoticing.
Yeah, I guess today is the 29th, the 18th. Excuse me.
Sorry,
Okay.
it would be May.
May 19th?
Would we be only required to notify the one gentleman, since we've already notified everyone else?
Well, that's what I was saying to you before. Get the 200-foot list. Make sure that everybody on the second notice make sure everybody on the third list that you're getting now has been given notification, and just do that.
Okay, so we will only have to require notice of people who were not on this list and may show up on the second list.
Yes.
Okay. Mr. Schildkraut, so May 19th, 7 p.m. here in council chamber.
So,
Okay.
thank you for raising that issue. And if you have counsel, then you have an opportunity to make that happen. Thank you.
Okay.
All right, thank you.
Thank you very much. So I'm going to be careful with saying this. So anyone here present, anyone listening at home, if you have received a notice within 200 feet, you will not receive another notice. But if you have not received a notice, you will receive a notice. This case will be carried to Tuesday, May 19th, with hearing beginning at 7 p.m. here in council chambers. Thank you very much.
And before we adjourn on this application, does applicant consent to the grant extension of time for the board to act on this application beyond May 19th?
We'll sign it.
All right, thank you.
Great. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Oh, one other question. I am assuming we will not have to represent the entire case.
No.
No, in fact, there may be a transcript available, which can become available for people to review. Yes, Mr. Shellcraft.
I think with my attorney present, I think the case needs, how is the attorney going to respond to something that they haven't heard?
Well, as I was saying, there'll be a transcript, and your attorney can review that transcript, but you have the witnesses available, the same witnesses, correct?
Correct.
Yeah, so the same witnesses will be here, but there'll be testimony for your attorney to review.
Okay, so
There's also, there's a recording, correct? Is there else?
A recording, so he could watch it on YouTube, he could watch it on Edison TV, or he could request a transcript.
all right, thank you.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay. All right, thank you very much, Mr. Shire. Madam Secretary, are you on the next case? Okay, all right. Madam Secretary, next case on the agenda, please.
Case number Z37, 2025, Ali Enterprises at 764 New Durham Road. Applicant is seeking bulk and D-use variances to demolish the existing 391-square-foot building and 4 pumps on site and replace with 4 new pumps and a 2,820-square-foot convenience store, along with associated site improvements. Standards have not been met in accordance with the master plan. Affected property is located in the RB zone designated as block number 57.02, lot number 12, on the Edison Township tax map. All noticing paperwork is in order.
Good evening, Mr. Tuvel.
Okay. Good evening, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. Jason Tuvel, attorney for the applicant. As was stated, this is an application for preliminary and final site plan approval. There's a use variance associated with the project, as well as some bulk variances. It's Block 57.02, Lot 12, 764 New Durham Road. This lot consists of a gas station that has been around since the 1960s. So it's a pre-existing non-conforming use. It actually predates the municipal land use law, which was adopted in the 1970s. The lot is an irregularly shaped property located in the RB zone. It has 3 frontages, and it is shaped as like a triangle. So it's narrow and a triangle. So it's a very uniquely shaped property that fronts on 2 different roads, but has 3 frontages. There's no stormwater management on the property that meets today's standards. There's no comprehensive landscaping plan, and the curb cuts are antiquated and somewhat open. So the goal of the project is to redevelop the site with a gas station as it exists today, but with a new canopy, new orientation of the pumps, and also to add a convenience store of approximately 2,820 square feet. As part of the project, we're going to be doing substantial upgrades to the property that we've worked on with not only the township professionals, but also the county as well, and I'll explain that in a second. So in terms of the upgrades, the convenience store building that's being proposed will be aesthetically pleasing and will be residential in character, and we'll show that to the board. There's going to be a reduction in impervious coverage in terms of pavement on the site by over 1,000 square feet, which will enhance stormwater management on the property. There'll be a reduction in motor vehicle surface area, which will help water quality and also help route stormwater from the site to the proper sewer systems. There's going to be improvements to the geometry of the driveways currently located on the property. As I indicated today, they're somewhat open and wider than they need to be, so we're going to upgrade that as well. There'll be upgrades to the lighting. There'll be upgrades to the landscaping. We're going to enhance the side yard setback from what exists today of the canopy from approximately 13 feet to 52 feet. There'll be a buffer that's added between the only property that the site abuts with a substantial amount of landscaping. There's going to be upgrades to utility and sewer on the property. And one of the main focuses of the project that took some time to get to the board was the township and the county wanted the applicant as part of this project to upgrade the intersection at New Durham Road and Durham. So as you'll see, the site distance, the turning lanes have all been upgraded as part of this project, which will facilitate traffic safety, pedestrian safety, and all turning movements in the area. We reviewed the board engineer's comment letter. I can stipulate that we'll comply if approved with all those comments. We received no objections from the police department or the fire department who reviewed the application. And as I indicated, we're working with the county planning board as it relates to the roadway and improving the intersection to a significant degree that our traffic engineer will go through in detail. So I have 3 witnesses that I plan on calling. The first witness will be our civil engineer, James Henry from Dynamic Engineering. The second witness will be our traffic engineer, Nicholas Verderisi from Dynamic Traffic. And then our third witness will be our professional planner, John McDonough, who will go through the variance relief that we're seeking and associated with the project. So with that, Mr. Chairman, as indicated, I've served and published notice in accordance with the municipal land use law. So with your permission, I'd be happy to call my first witness.
Without objection.
Okay, so the first witness I'd like to call is James Henry from Dynamic Engineering. So we should swear him in and then I'll qualify him.
Do you swear or affirm the testimony you'll give this evening is the whole truth?
I do.
Okay, please state your full name and spell it for the record.
James Henry, James-Henry, from Dynamic Engineering.
And Mr. Henry, you've appeared before the board prior. If you could please give us a summary of your background and qualifications.
Yes, sure. I have appeared before this board prior. As far as education, I have a bachelor's of science in civil engineering from Rutgers University with a minor in public planning from the Edward Blaustein School of Public Planning and Policy. I have a master's of science in civil engineering from Rutgers University as well. As far as licensure, I'm a licensed engineer in New Jersey, Connecticut, Pennsylvania, and New York.
Your licenses are current and good standing?
Yes.
You may proceed. Thank you.
Before Jim starts, there's one thing that I failed to mention in my opening. So this gas station had been operating 24 hours for quite some time. Right around COVID, they stopped operating 24 hours. If the board were to approve the application with the convenience store and the gas as proposed, the applicant would stipulate, despite what the ordinance permits, to only operate between 5 a.m. and 10 p.m. So I just wanted that to be set forth on the record as part of what our application entails.
Are you going to have an operational testimony?
Mr. Henry will go through that.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. All right. So, Jim, why don't we start with existing conditions, getting the board and the public oriented to the site in terms of how it's situated today?
Sure.
So if you could if you have presentation, if you could just bring the microphone with you.
Sure.
Thank you.
You want to do it the same way?
That'd be great.
I guess my concern is the public being
Yeah, that's true. Actually, you know what, sir? So since we do have some interested public, why don't you go right in front of the objectors table over here? This way everybody can see, because we also have it on our board as well. Yeah, that's fine. Thank you.
All right, Jim, why don't you identify that exhibit for the
Before you
record?
do that, though, before you do that, can members of the public, are you able to see the view of that? Could you just angle it maybe? I try to split the baby, as we say. Now the board can't see it, though. Maybe you have to step back. Yeah, put it back there. Sorry to make you move around. That microphone's going to fall. We'll get there.
Just the aerial. Yeah. So we'll start off with marking the aerial map exhibit, and that's dated April 28, 2026. And
Has that been previously submitted?
no, this is
Okay. So mark it A1 then.
A1. Thank you. And this is prepared by Dynamic Engineering.
I'm sorry, what's the date on that?
April 28th, 2026.
Okay, so today.
Yes.
Okay. And you prepared that document?
Yes.
Okay.
So this document indicates an aerial image of the proposed property with the PIQ indicated in yellow in the center, and then 200 feet, a dashed line around the property indicating the property is within 200 feet. There's also a blue line which indicates the separation between the LI zone and the RB zone, with the LI zone being south of New Durham Road and up north of New Durham Road being the RB zone. The property is known as Block 5702, Lot 12, and the general location is 764 New Durham Road, which is County Route 501, and that traverses east-west. New Durham Road comes in at almost like a 45-degree angle, headed kind of northeast to southwest. The lot itself is kind of a pie shape. It's a very uniquely shaped lot. It's conforming as far as size, but it's very unique, being that it's got 2 frontages, 2 side yards, and it also has frontage on Durham and New Durham Road.
so it's very uniquely shaped. Its principal frontage being New Durham Road. From existing zoning, it's in the RB zone, as I mentioned earlier, which is a residential district. Adjacent to the property, to the north are residential uses. To the east are also residential uses. To the south are industrial office uses. And then to the west are residential, it's the intersection of New Durham and Durham Road. As far as existing conditions, as was mentioned earlier, we reviewed historical aerial documentation. The gas station was constructed between 1957 and 1963 based on historical aerials, actually before a lot of these residential uses were constructed. The property size is 0.67 acres. It's an existing gas station use with a small building along the easterly property line. That building has kind of a bathroom and storage area for the gas station. There are 4 pumps. The gas canopy is situated, so the canopy is from east to west, where it has 4 pumps. It's been that way for a long time. There's a small trash area adjacent to the building to the north. It's approximately 10 by 10. It's very small under existing conditions. There are 4 driveways, 2 driveways on Durham Road, 2 driveways on New Durham Road. They are oversized, 45 feet to 46 feet, and then on New Durham Road, approximately 36 to 38 feet. So they're oversized, and we're going to be modifying them as part of this application. From a parking situation, we have 5 total parking spaces required by zoning ordinance, whereas 1 space exists today, and it's an ADA space. There is an existing tank along the northerly property line along Durham Avenue, and that's an existing condition. There's no restrictions on delivery time.
Is that tank underground?
That's an underground tank.
Okay, thank you.
200, yeah. So there's underground gas tanks along Durham Avenue. There's no restrictions on delivery time or anything like that, as the site was originally approved prior to municipal land use law. So going into proposed conditions, I'll mark A2.
And Jim, just also, there's no stormwater management, there's no comprehensive landscaping on the property. It's been around since the 1960s, pretty much.
That's correct.
Okay.
Without change? Without any changes? Is that what your testimony is?
There's been like some upgrade changes, but not like substantial modifications.
Okay, as Mr. Javelle pointed out.
There's definitely been like a canopy added since the 60s. There's been modifications to the gas station. When you look at the gas, like back in the 60s, there was no canopies, there was just a pump. So there have been changes throughout, but as far as we're aware, I don't believe there was any approvals from municipal land use.
Okay, thank you.
All right, so Jim, we're up to A2.
Yeah, so A2 is a rendering of the site plan that was submitted with a few minor changes based on professionals' comments. So that will be the on-site improvement exhibit rendering, and that's dated April 28, 2026. Yes.
And who prepared that document?
Dynamic
exhibit?
Engineering and myself.
Okay, thank you.
So this is just a color rendering with the landscaping overlaid over the property and over the site plan. So under existing conditions, as I mentioned, the canopy was situated east to west. The big thing, based on feedback we received historically, as there was a previous application that was submitted that was not approved by this board. We wanted to pull everything away from the residential uses. And when we met with the town's professionals, they had indicated there was an issue at Durham Road and New Durham Road, and we'll get into the intersection improvements. But we wanted to situate this so all the activity was more pulled towards the tip of the triangle, pull it away from the adjacent residential use to the east. So what we're looking to do is propose a 2,820 square foot convenience store. As I mentioned, the hours of operation would be 5 a.m. To 10 p.m. So it wouldn't be 24 hours. There will be 1 gasoline fueling canopy, square in nature, in the center of the site with a fueling kiosk. There will be 2 state-of-the-art double wall fiberglass underground tanks installed. The tanks that are out there today have been there for, I believe, since the 1980s, based on the operations person I spoke to. So this would be a major upgrade from a safety standpoint as far as upgrading the existing tanks. From an impervious coverage standpoint, we would be reducing the overall impervious coverage, so reducing that by approximately 5%, just under 1,000 square feet. And then we would be improving the motor vehicle coverage by reducing that approximately 2,800 square feet. So we'd be adding, removing like impervious areas such as pavement and that sort of thing with canopy. There are.
Mr. Terry, hold on a second. Just with regard to the hours of operations, is that for both the fuel storage and fuel service as well as the convenience store? It's
Yes,
for both?
they would operate
Okay.
together.
And you mentioned you talked to somebody about the fuel tanks, the fuel storage tanks.
Yes.
Is there any indication as far as any kind of maintenance or leakage or anything like that about the tank?
There's no indication of that right now.
Okay. And has that, to your knowledge, has that ever been tested? I'm sure they have
so
rigorous testing, but what's
As
been
part
going
of
on?
this application, I reached out to the applicant's LSRP. Again, this is a historical gas station. There was, I believe, reports that were submitted to the DEP. There's natural attenuation taking place on site. There's no active contamination at all on site.
All right, thank you.
From a bulk chart standpoint, we do have a few variances. Front yard setbacks, primarily due to the unique shape of the property. As we mentioned, we wanted to shift the building kind of the westerly side of the property as it gets narrower. So as I mentioned, it's unique. So we do have a 4.2-foot setback to Durham Road and approximately 4 foot to New Durham Road because we wanted to shift everything to the west.
Mr. Henry, one is Durham Avenue, one is Durham Road. Just because it's easier to track the testimony. Just so that to the north is Durham Avenue.
I apologize.
Okay, sure,
So
of
Durham
course.
Avenue and then 4 foot to New Durham Road. And then building coverage. So in order to be conservative, we had included the canopy in the building coverage calculation. So we are tripped over from a building coverage standpoint. But if you consider just a convenience store, we are actually compliant, approximately 17%, whereas 23 is allowed by ordinance. So we added the canopy in there just to be conservative. So we are asking for a variance for that. And then maximum impervious coverage, as I mentioned, we're improving. So it's an existing nonconformity. So a lot of existing nonconformities here where we're trying to improve and really rehabilitate the overall site and bring it up to current standards. As far as parking, we're proposing 18 total parking spaces.
Please.
Excuse me.
Folks, you will have an opportunity during the public portion to speak. Please, as I stated during the opening, there will be no outbursts, there will be no booing, no cheering. Please allow the applicant the opportunity and the respect to present their case. You will have your opportunity to speak. Thank you.
The 18 spaces are inclusive of the spaces underneath the canopy. So there's 11 actual parking spaces on site, which is compliant. If you consider the parking spaces under the canopy, we are compliant from an ordinance standpoint. They are 9 by 18, which comply with the ordinance standard. Some changes we did make as from a site plan perspective based on the feedback we received from the board's professionals. There are bank spaces that we indicated along the easterly property line. We recommend that we do install those as part of this application. There was a request to add 1 EV space based on the ordinance requirement. Our client does not need it, but we're agreeable to adding an EV space based on the ordinance requirement. And then we would be adding the air vac. Will be shifted over to the east side of the parking area in order to comply with the comment from the board's engineer. We would also be removing any propane storage on site. There was a comment regarding that. So we would not be doing exterior propane storage, so we were removing that. From a loading perspective, no loading is required by ordinance and none is proposed. Access, as I mentioned, there was 4 existing driveways, 2 on New Durham Road and 2 on Durham Avenue. We will be pulling them away from the intersection from a safety perspective, which is beneficial, and our traffic engineer can get into that. But also we would be narrowing them so they would be roughly about 26 feet in width. With the New Durham Road driveways being limited to just an ingress and an egress, and the Durham Avenue driveways being full movement. So We'd be narrowing them and limiting them. Right now, there's four driveways, and really there's 3 driveways if you consider the ingress-egress driveway on New Durham Road. As far as public improvements, just going to bring up an exhibit which kind of shows the existing conditions. We'll mark this A3.
And that's existing conditions, you said?
Yes.
And prepared by your office?
Yes. It's existing intersection conditions exhibit dated April 27th, 2026, prepared by Dynamic Engineering. And this will be A3. So this exhibit just kind of shows you how a car kind of aligns and what the concern of the board professionals were. So as you come down New Durham Road, as a car gets to the intersection, it's kind of angled at a 45-degree angle. And one of the board professionals came to us and asked, hey, what kind of improvements can we do here to align the car better with New Durham Road and provide a safer intersection? So what we did was, and I'm going to touch on it briefly, but our traffic engineer will get into it in more detail. So what we did was we show a number of striping improvements, landscape island improvements based on a meeting we had with the county. We've had several meetings with the county over the last 6 months going over these improvements as far as updating that intersection. One other major upgrade from a public improvement standpoint, we did meet with the township's sewer department this week regarding the existing sewer, which traverses from east to west along New Durham Road. One of those pipes is back-pitched, so it's not flowing properly. And they had asked us to upgrade the existing sewer main along New Durham Road. And we agreed to do that. Our client agreed to do that and modify that so that it's no longer back-pitched. So those are the 2 main improvements we're doing. And I'll show you an exhibit showing the intersection improvements briefly, but I'll leave really the main kind of description of the intersection to our traffic engineer, but I want to show it as part of the site plan application so it's clear.
Are you going to talk about the change to the driveway conditions? Because you talk about ingress and egress on Durham Avenue versus the ingress on Durham Road. Are you going to talk about that? As a traffic engineer, going to talk about that?
I'll let the traffic engineer handle that.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Just mark that for the record, too, up to what number we're at? 4.
Sure, and this will be the off-site county improvement exhibit, dated A4.
And
Prepared by Dynamic Engineering.
Jim, before you get to that, just because you touched on it, will the upgrades to the sewer not only benefit the site, but the surrounding area as well?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
So this is the off-site county improvement exhibit dated, labeled A4, dated April 27th, 2026. And this just goes into the modifications that we're proposing, including adding a landscape island, a dedicated right-hand turn lane off New Durham Road, and then re-angling the way cars hit the intersection so they hit it more at a 90-degree angle. Also, one thing to note, we're providing crosswalk, and the island will kind of act as a safe harbor for pedestrians. And then there's another crosswalk as well as sidewalk improvements along New Durham Road, as well as Durham Avenue.
Yeah, we'll have the traffic
And
engineer
our traffic engineer will go in more detail.
explain safety, but I wanted Jim to just explain the site improvements themselves.
So I'm going back to A2, which is the site improvement exhibit.
The colored version of the site plan.
Correct. So from an operation perspective, I did confirm verbally with our client's operations person, who also had worked at Shell prior to our client purchasing the property, that this gas station has operated at 24 hours and stopped operating that way approximately around COVID. So we're limiting the proposed hours to 5 a.m. to 10 p.m. as previously mentioned. As far as number of employees, there's under existing conditions, there's 1 employee at the gas station, and we're anticipating this neighborhood convenience store to have approximately 2 employees inside the building. From a safety perspective, there was a comment just regarding video cameras, which I believe the board of professionals had, and I confirmed with our client that they're willing to do provide access to the police or anything like that if there was access requested by the Township Police Department from a safety perspective and add cameras. As far as trash pickup, we're adding a 10 by 20 trash enclosure approximately where the existing trash enclosure exists today. It's decorative in nature. It will be masonry to house the dumpsters under the proposed conditions. As far as pickup, we will restrict the pickup time with the understanding. A lot of this goes into the understanding, obviously, we're well aware that we're adjacent to residential to the north, and we want to make sure we're good neighbors. So we're limiting the hours. We're going to modify the pickup time for the trash enclosure. We're going to modify the pickup time, or the drop-off time for the gas, and agree as best we can to make sure that happens during daytime hours so it doesn't happen during overnight hours under the proposed conditions.
So getting back to the trash enclosure, how would that be accessed? How is it going to be, what's the timing of it as far as how will it be picked up? Is it going to be a dumpster? Is it just individual receptacles? How does that work?
We would have 2 dumpsters inside, one for recycling.
Okay, and how would the truck come to access and pick up those dumpsters? They come with the truck and then come in, they drive in from the west heading east?
So they would come in, circulate around, enter in, back up, and then exit out onto Durham Road, out to New Durham Road.
Okay, but actually, where's the opening to get to the dumpster? Is it to the western portion?
West, away
Okay.
from the residential uses.
Perfect, thank you.
Thank you.
And Jim, just in terms of the deliveries for the convenience store, we're just anticipating a few box trucks deliveries per week and 1 to 2 vendors per day, correct?
Right. This is not a 7-Eleven or a national brand. This is a Welsh Farms. This is a local community store. This is not like a national brand. This is not 24 hours. We did not design this for truck traffic at all. We actually have signs on here restricting truck traffic. So this is just a box truck delivery to come and have a box truck deliver, small delivery 1 time per week, and then as well as vendor deliveries during the day.
So when you say truck, you mean there's no tractor trailer delivery?
No tractor trailers, right.
Okay. And no tractor trailer fueling either?
That's correct.
Okay.
No high-speed diesel. As far as fuel deliveries, 2 to 3 times per week, which is how often it drops off today. The site will be serviced by public utilities, public sewer, public water. There'll be a 2-inch water service to the existing convenience store. There are no sprinklers proposed, as there's none required for this size building, as it's relatively small. We are showing a transformer pad at the northwest corner of the site behind the building. If needed, if it's not needed, we won't have the transformer pad. But in case we needed to have a ground mount transformer, we wanted to have the ability to have that. There is 1 utility pole which is being modified. It's a very small utility pole at the northeast corner of the site, and that's just kind of shifted out to the road near where the trash enclosure is. There was also a comment from the board's professionals just regarding a generator on site. There is no generator proposed on site. What our client generally does is he contracts with a generator company. So they come and they drop off a generator within 24 hours if a generator is needed on site. So it's not like it's going to turn on, once a week and create a noise issue. It's a generator. We'll have a quick hookup inside of the convenience store and the gas. So if there is an emergency like Sandy or something like that, there is an easy way to basically have the gas station up and running.
And where would the generator, if it has to be deployed, where would it be placed on the property?
Likely would just be on like the sidewalk area over adjacent to the building.
All right, Jim, you want to talk about the lighting?
Well, hold on a second. I think the vice chair wants to. Could you be more specific as to where it is?
Where is the generator going to be located?
So this is a portable generator.
No, I understand where it is, but where would it physically be?
So it would either be in the front of the building or behind the building and on the sidewalk areas.
You say front of the building, where the parking is?
In front of the 5 parking spaces in front or behind the building. If we want to restrict it behind the building, we can make sure we put the electrical room back there.
Close to the Durham Avenue side, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
I mean, there's no, you're saying you would put it by the parking.
We're also, we can put it on the parking. We haven't fully designed the inside. I mean, we have a conceptual of the inside of the building. So what we can do is if we want to have it behind the building, we can show it behind the building and have it there and have a designated generator area. We don't have an issue with that. I was just saying there's a 6-foot wide sidewalk. If we want to put it in front of the building, that's an option too. Again, this would only be during emergency circumstances.
But you're still in operation. I mean, you can't put a generator on the sidewalk.
So Jim, the point is we can put it in the back of the building,
Mr. O'Gorman.
screened so it doesn't affect the sidewalk.
Mr. Carley? Just bring your microphone closer,
Board has
Charlie.
seen it with Wawas, Quick Checks, other exotic things that you hardly ever see in central New Jersey. The generator will probably be towed on a little trailer into a parking spot, and it'll be plugged into some outlet that's purpose-made for the purpose, likely a 15-amp outlet. So it'll be occupying a parking spot in that, for that little period of time during an emergency. Mr. Henry will testify that it's not the station owner's intent to run off of an emergency generator 24/7, 300 and some odd days a year. Is that about right?
I'm agreeable to that, yes.
Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Carley.
Thank you. All right, Jim, you want to go to lighting?
Sure. Just going into lighting, the existing lights that are underneath the canopy they pop out of the canopy. They're not fully flush with the underneath the canopy. It's an older way that the lights were situated back a number of years ago. We're looking to have fully flush lights underneath the canopy, LED. We're proposing 12 recessed canopy lights underneath with a mounting height of 16.5. As we get closer, there's one light that's adjacent to the residential to the east. That light is very, it's very short, so there's no spillover onto the residential. We provided a lighting illumination study to the board's professionals. It's 0-foot candle at the property line. And then there's there's building lights around the outside of the building, which are also downward facing full cutoff lights. And I believe there was a comment just regarding the color of the lighting, and we will agree with the board's professionals' recommendation on the color to make sure it's not a white color. It'll be more of a traditional, kind of a little bit more of a yellowish color.
And the temperature, right, Jim?
Temperature, right.
Okay, we'll agree
The
with.
temperature is the color, so yeah.
Okay. And just to reiterate, there's no spillage based on your lighting plan at the residential property line, correct?
That's correct.
Okay.
And one other thing.
And I'm sorry, and that would be improvement over the current conditions? The lighting spillage is actually an improvement from the current position?
I haven't modeled the two. There are two lights relatively close to the corner. There's one at each driveway. I haven't modeled whether or not those two lights go over the property lines. I would imagine, so one thing, we're going to get into landscaping in a minute, but we're proposing a thick landscape buffer, which is going to be a mature, when installed, we're going to install a mature kind of landscaping with evergreen trees. We're also proposing a 10-foot vinyl fence to help buffer the adjacent use from the residential. So it's going to be a very thick buffer to the east. So transitioning into that, from a landscaping perspective, we're proposing 1 shade tree, an ornamental tree, 20 evergreen trees. As I mentioned, we're gonna install them at very mature heights, 8-foot height. I believe there was a comment just regarding, we were gonna install green giants, but I believe the board professionals had said like there's concern over deer. So they had recommended switching that out for eastern red cedar, and we're agreeable to that. But overall, we're proposing 20 evergreen trees, and there are a number of existing evergreen trees along the easterly property line. So we're going to supplement that. And then we're also going to be adding in 42 shrubs, 25 deciduous shrubs, and 17 ornamental grasses. And the main idea is basically to provide nice landscaping. The main thing, again, we're going to emphasize is really buffering the use to the east, and then also providing some buffering around the perimeter, making sure that there's no headlights facing towards residential uses to the north, and then also providing some nice landscaping along the edge of the building as well.
And Jim, that results in a reduction, not only the landscaping, but the whole site orientation, a reduction in impervious surface, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
So in total, we're proposing 106 total plantings out there. as a major upgrade to the overall site. There was a comment just regarding the cut fill as far as soil removal. We are showing a 52 additional yards of fill coming on site, so we're not showing any cut. That was one of the professionals' comments as far as whether or not we would need a soil permit. So we are around 52 cubic yards of fill on site. From a signage perspective, there are, just going over a few of the signs, there is an existing freestanding sign located along at the southwesterly corner of the site under existing conditions. And the idea is really to kind of keep that freestanding sign, but shift it further away from the residential, more towards the corner inside of the actual county right-of-way. The idea being that, number one, the building would semi-block the sign, but also just trying to move it further towards the intersection away from the residential uses. So we would be proposing a new sign there. Generally speaking, we would be reducing the square footage of the existing sign, roughly approximately 4 square feet, so roughly same size but a little bit smaller. Shifting it away, same height. So we'd be asking for a number of variances kind of to move that sign essentially further to the west. And then also to have the sign within the county right away, so it's further away from the residential uses. The sign clearance would be modified from 10 feet to 7.5 feet under the proposed conditions. From a building signage standpoint, we're proposing 2 building mounted signs, one facing to the right and one facing towards New Durham Road. Relatively small in nature, 22.22 square feet, which would be a variance, being that it's in a residential zone and only a 5 square foot sign is permitted. But other than that, we will be generally complying with the sign ordinance from a height perspective and clearance requirement if you were to compare it versus some other commercial uses. There are some just ancillary variances regarding maximum sign height, the sign projection, being that the ordinance was mainly designed for a residential zone. As far as canopy signage, under existing conditions, there's one sign on the southeasterly corner of the canopy. There's another sign on the southwesterly corner. We would be reducing the size of those signs on the proposed canopy from approximately 9.3 square feet each to 9.02 square feet. One other, I think, major improvement would be under existing conditions, all 4 sides of the existing gas canopy, it's illuminated, so it lights up at night. Considering that we're adjacent to residential, our client is agreeable to modifying the northerly side of the canopy to have no illumination, as well as the easterly side of the canopy to have no illumination, understanding that those sides would be residential uses.
Jim, before you get into the building, can you just speak to how the reduction in impervious coverage and how stormwater would be improved by the site plan that you designed?
Sure. So as was mentioned, we're adding a number of landscape areas. We're reducing the amount of stormwater management or impervious areas and improving stormwater management. Being that we're reducing impervious, we're going to reduce the flow off-site. We are also reducing motor vehicle surface area. So from a kind of a TSS removal standpoint, which is a pollutant load removal, we would have basically less pavement area, essentially, and more rooftop space. So from a stormwater management perspective, we're not considered a major development. NJAC 7:8 doesn't trigger in this case because of the size of the site. But what we are doing is we're reducing the impervious coverage, which we're not required to do this. It even further helps reduction of impervious and is beneficial to the neighborhood as well.
Okay, so from a stormwater perspective, you see an improvement to the surrounding area.
Yes.
From a lighting perspective, you see no significant negative impacts to the surrounding properties.
Correct.
From a landscaping perspective, you see a enhancement to the property and the surrounding area.
Yes.
Okay, and from a utility perspective, you also see a benefit not only to the property, but the surrounding area.
Yes.
All right, can you just, again, before you get into the building, just speak about ADA compliance as it might relate to the parking space, as well as any sidewalks or improvements on the site as well?
Sure. So ADA improvements, We have a note on the plans as far as upgrading the existing sidewalks. Any area that we thought needed to be upgraded, we modified the sidewalks, and we're agreeable to upgrading the sidewalks if they're in bad condition along basically every frontage that surrounds the site. And then we're also providing the crosswalks, as was mentioned, across Durham Avenue. So it's a major upgrade. We're also adding, at every single intersection, we're adding ADA ramps, including across our driveways along New Durham Road as well as Durham Avenue.
Okay. All right, why don't we now go into the building?
Great, thank you.
While we just changed the boards, Jason, can you confirm that along the easterly property line that a solid fence will be installed?
Yeah, Jim had indicated that there would be a vinyl solid fence along the easterly property line in addition to the landscape buffering that's
Okay.
proposed.
Got it.
We were
Thank you.
showing it at 10 feet to make sure it's a significant buffer to the adjacent residential.
Got it. Thank you.
10 feet in height, Jim?
Yes.
Okay.
Which is, your typical fence, just so everyone's aware, is approximately 6 feet. So if the board is open to it, we'd be willing to install a 10-foot high fence or an 8-foot, whatever the board feels is appropriate. Our client's willing to do whatever it takes to make sure there's a proper buffer there.
Okay.
Thank you.
Sure.
So this is what we're going to be showing now are just elevations of the proposed building, as well as a floor plan showing the interior layout of the building. We also have our architect is here, but I will just be presenting it in case you have any specific architectural comments. We do have our architect here that can answer any questions you may have.
Yep. Oh.
So A5, this is the convenience store. I don't know if I have that. Okay. Oh, I do. Yep. A5 is a color rendering of the elevations that were submitted to the board, prepared by KSD Architecture, dated October 3rd, 2025.
How many pages is it?
There's 2 pages. One is the elevations and the other is the floor plan.
Okay. Thank you.
Actually, 3 pages, I apologize. 3 pages. So we have multiple elevations. So shift over, go to sheet 2, so you can see the front of the building. So as was mentioned earlier, the building that's out there is in disrepair. One of the big things we worked with our architects to do is really kind of make this fit in well with the community, make it look residential in nature, have a pitched roof, and really kind of give it that residential feel and a high quality feel, being that it is a residential convenience store. So from a building size perspective, it's relatively small. You know, Wawa, for instance, is roughly about 5,000 square feet. This is a smaller one. This is under 3,000 square feet at 2820 square feet. There is a door location. There's a main door location in the front, as well as a door to the rear.
And just to be clear, the main door goes to the parking lot side, not towards the north of the property, correct?
That's correct.
Okay.
So it faces west.
Faces east.
Faces
It's
east.
east. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
From a building design perspective, we're adding a brick veneer system, which is probably a Nichia panel to give it a brick exterior look. A natural limestone veneer on the bottom, which is high quality material, stone material. Aluminum frame windows to really kind of emphasize the architectural and residential neighborhood that it's transitioning from New Durham to Durham. The building height is 24 feet to the roof eave, and it has, basically a pitched roof, making it look very residential-like. The HVAC is going to be enclosed in the roof. So I know a lot of times when you see commercial uses, there's a HVAC adjacent to the building, and it doesn't look very nice. This actually would be screened within the roof, so that it would not be visible from the naked eye if you were standing adjacent to it. It's an A-frame roof with, kind of asphalt shingles on the roof with dental molding wrapping it to give it a colonial look. Overall, I think, the building itself, between the two sheets, you can see at the rear, this is where the HVAC would be, facing to the west. Again, this would not be visible. As you can see, the HVAC would be fully screened with kind of a louver system facing to the west. With the understanding, obviously, we're at a lot of different, we don't really have a backup building. You kind of can see the building from all four sides. So our client was agreeable to kind of making sure that all four sides of the building look really nice and all four sides have a nice finish. So you can see the pitched roof in the front would have a small canopy overhanging the sidewalk, and then the rear would just have a ladder system which would go up to the HVAC area. So going into the third sheet, which is the floor layout.
And that's SCH-1?
This is SCH-1, October 3rd, 2025, prepared by KSD. As you come in, the parking area is to the right-hand side. So this, again, is situated so that north is facing up on the third sheet. So as you enter in, you come in off the easterly side. You come in, and there are racks for convenience store items directly in front of you. There's a sales POS item, hot dog roller, as well as POS area. There's coffee area along the northerly side of the building. And then there's a refrigerator area and back area behind the refrigerator area, which would allow for access out the back door. So the refrigerator area, as you came in, would be against the far wall, providing for refreshments, drinks, that sort of nature, and then just a standard coffee island, as well as racking for standard convenience store items.
And Jim, you've had the chance to review the board engineer's letter in connection with this matter?
Yes.
Okay, and you've reviewed, and that, just for the record, is dated, do I have it here? I should have just, did I just miss it?
March 26th?
Yes, March
26th.
26th.
Yeah.
The applicant will comply with all those comments set forth in that letter?
Yeah, so I went through them, and any of the ones that were kind of gray in nature, I tried to weave into my direct. And if there was any that I didn't address, I'm welcome to answer any questions now.
Mr. Carley?
As Mr. Henry's testimony was thorough, just a quick question for Mr. Tuvell and Mr. Henry.
Sure.
And this came to it's not in my report. It came into my head when Mr. Tuvell was saying the station had been there since the 1950s and the 1960s. And then when I was warbling about Wawas and Quick Checks, then and now you often see, in addition to propane, which you've addressed, air pumps, vacuum stations, ice machines. You used to see milk machines. Plug-in locations for multiple cars. Those type of site features on your site, do you anticipate any of those features that you see around gas stations? You want to vacuum your car, some gas stations will give courtesy vacuums. If you want to blow up your tires, there's courtesy air pumps. Do you see that around this station?
Yes, I think on the site plan, there's vacuum and air, which we're providing mainly because most people expect that kind of at a gas station. Okay. So we are proposing that along the easterly property line. We're shifting it away from directly in front of the building. And then as far as exterior ice, we're anticipating that to be inside the building. Okay. Our client doesn't like to have, he operates a number of gas stations throughout New Jersey. He doesn't like to have that clutter look in front. He likes to have it nice and clean inside the building.
Yeah.
And Jim,
Mr. Ayotz and I will remember when they sold milk at gas stations outside. Remember the milk machines?
Yes.
Yeah. Now, for all of that, with the parking related to those features, we're going to rely on Mr. Verderesi because I'm assuming that he's going to talk about the parking. You had provided 5 spots plus 6 banked. The bank's going to be there now. You're going to have handicapped and then some dedicated parking in those 11 spaces. And so we'll rely on Mr. Verderesi's testimony to describe that to the board. Is that acceptable?
Yes.
Yes.
Absolutely.
And as Mr. Henry said, he did cover most of the action items where I requested testimony. The preponderance of the items in my March 26th report do point to plan revisions that frankly would not result in the site plan being altered dramatically. The sizzle on the steak relative to site layout here is with the County of Middlesex, with the rearrangement of that intersection. And I'm sure Mr. Verderesi will explain the efforts that his office is going through in that regard.
Absolutely, yes. I just wanted Jim to set forth the site improvements and those off-site improvements, and Nick will go through it in from a more traffic-based perspective.
And just one thing to clarify, because we are adding the EV space, we did have 11 spaces, but we get the credit for the additional space because we're moving the AV. So we technically have 10 spaces, but it's 11 when you consider the EV space.
Yeah, I got you. Thanks so much. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Good, Mr. Crowley?
Yes,
Thank you very much. Okay, Ms. Knight?
No questions.
You good? All right, thank you very much. Okay. Do you have any further on direct?
Nope.
Okay. Does the board have any questions?
Mr. Chair,
Ms. Chhabra?
I have a few questions for Mr. Henry. So to start off with, so the gas pumps are being relocated in the canopy. They're being relocated closer to the residentials, and the store is being proposed closer to the intersection. Why is that? What's the beneficial use there?
I'm trying to understand, you're saying the gas station's being moved closer?
Correct. Right now, there's a masonry building that's closer to the residential. Essentially, that is what's being expanded from 300 square feet something to 2,800 square feet, but it's being flipped closer to that intersection, and that canopy is coming closer to the houses.
I could scale it off. My understanding, I think, the buffer is being made larger under proposed conditions, so the gas station isn't getting closer to the residential.
It's not getting closer?
No, it's being pulled away from the residential.
But right now, there's a masonry building there, but that building is going to take place, and instead of that, we're going to have parking there.
Right now, there's a 5-foot setback to the residential on where the parking area is, and we're creating 10.5 feet. So we're pulling it back an additional 5 feet and creating more of a buffer to the adjacent residential.
Okay, but the current existing masonry building is going away, and parking is going to be there, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so what's the beneficial use of that, having parking along that side? My question is because now you have headlights going into people's houses, et cetera, et cetera.
Well, the headlights aren't going into people's houses. We've got a thick, tree buffer that's right adjacent to it, and then we're also proposing a 10-foot high fence that's going to block any sort of lights or anything like that nature. The parking spaces that are going to be used primarily are the spaces that are in front of the building and the de facto spaces that are underneath the canopy.
So Jim,
These spaces over to the east are going to be seldomly used under any circumstances,
Yeah, Jim,
especially during off-peak hours.
Yeah, Jim, I think it's a good question, and I think we should walk through it slowly.
Sure.
So I'm glad it was asked because we paid a lot of attention to this issue. So right now, the structure that's there is very small, correct?
Yes.
Okay, that's one. Two is the landscaping that's located in that area right now is, decent, but it's not very robust. Is that fair to say?
There is no landscaping there, unless you're talking about the northeasterly corner where there's an existing, existing vegetated area. But behind the building, I was out there today, there is no vegetated area between the back of the building and the adjacent fence line, which is, I believe, the residential.
Okay, and there's no opaque fence that we're proposing, correct?
No, the residential already has an opaque fence that's adjacent to the property line, and we're adding another one adjacent to it, even higher.
All right, so now let's talk about the proposed. So let's start from the east and go west, right?
Sure.
So first, we're going to have an opaque fence that runs the length of the property and also is 10 feet high or 8 feet high, whatever the board feels is appropriate.
Correct.
Okay, then we're adding...
One thing to note, we're not running along our property line because our property line actually kind of bisects the residential property. We thought it would be odd to have the fence go through there, even though when you look at the site, it's odd because you look at the front of the residential, and honestly, it's like our property line kind of bisects their front yard. So what our client is looking to do is essentially cut it where the building is so that the fence doesn't awkwardly go through the middle of their property.
My question more so is this. So I'm coming off of 287 after work. I'm heading towards Metuchen on New Durham Road.
Yes.
Now, I see this beautiful convenience store building that's going to be there. This comes first, and then the gas station, and then houses. Why isn't it that the gas pump comes first, the canopy, then the residential-looking architectural convenience store, and then the houses? What's the reason why that canopy is closer to the residential, and why wouldn't the building be proposed closer to the houses, is my question.
Well, I mean, the last time, so this application was kind of submitted what you're saying 10, 15 years ago.
Okay.
So there was an application that was in front of this board 10, 15 years ago that got denied where the building was all the way on the easterly property line.
Okay.
And that application was denied, being that it was, our understanding was that it was the building was too close to the residential, and it was too large to be adjacent to residential. One of the things we did was basically shift all the activity to the west to try and keep the activity away from the residential use and keep all the activity that is not the least used area on the entire site along the easterly boundary of the property.
Yeah, and I also wanted just to say too, in addition to the fence, you're adding a large number of evergreen trees along that easterly property line, correct?
Yes.
And increasing the buffer, doubling the buffer size, right?
Doubling the buffer, right.
All right. And then in addition to that, the spaces there would likely be, we're not going to say never used, obviously, but the least used, because people, when they go to a convenience store, always want to park right in front, right?
Correct.
And we also said that there would be 3 to 4 employees. I think you said 3 employees, right?
1 for the gas and 2 for the convenience. Yeah,
Right.
So 3 total.
So we could, so that those spaces have the least amount of turnover, have those spaces be for the employees. So there's the least amount of space, there's the least amount of turnover there. And we could also have shrubbery there that, in addition to the evergreen trees and the fence, prevent any lighting from getting to the other property line, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
All right, so let's back up a little bit. My question is, this property is in the RB zone, residential district. Now, we understand the gas station was older, it's grandfathered in, completely understand it. Now, with that aspect, we have to make sure that this proposed use doesn't further impact the negative impacts and detrimental impacts to the residents. So my question again was, because of the architectural, the building looks very residential, it adds the characteristics and feel of the residential neighborhood. Why wasn't it proposed there? You gave the justification of why your design was like this. My next question would be stuff like the vacuums, the air, that's closer to the residentials. People are still gonna be filling up. People like to listen to music and stuff like that when they're vacuuming. I mean, I'm looking based off the legend that was provided here and the graphic scale, and it's looking like it's going 23 feet away from the closest house nearby.
If the board would like, or we are agreeable. I talked to my client about this prior to the meeting. He feels that as a gas station, it's good to have a vacuum as well as air pump in case somebody gets flat tire. We have no issue not installing the EV and also not installing air vacuum here. We have no issue removing that from the application.
Completely understand. Again, I'm just looking at the perspective from the residents.
Yep.
The last thing I want to do is, me being in that house 23 feet away, is hearing vacuums and air pumps on a Saturday.
You're 100% right.
Furthermore, that's a big concern there. So that's something that I would like the board to consider, the placement of those pumps in the vacuum. Moving forth, now, since we're talking about the positioning of the convenience store being further away, not closer, is there any noise study conducted that the placement of the current gas station closer to the houses would be less noise or such?
There's 2 things there. One is we have to comply with the DEP noise regulations at the property line. And we're shutting down at 10 p.m. So that's when the noise regulations become more stringent, after 10 p.m. And we're shutting off at 10 p.m. The whole station is closing. And during the day, or before 10 p.m., when there's regulations, we have to comply with the noise with what's required by DEP. We can't get a variance from that.
Okay. Next question that I have is, now we're essentially creating a right-of-way through the property close to the residentials. Now, I drive through that road every morning, 6 a.m., to take 287. So I know that when you're taking north of that property at Durham Avenue, it gets backed up. What prevents someone from cutting through that property at 6 a.m. when we know that Durham Avenue intersection gets backed up?
Can I, it's a good question. Can I have the traffic engineer answer that?
Sure,
I think that's
absolutely.
just a better question for that witness.
Absolutely.
Sure.
And one more question. So location of the fueling truck and what are your proposed hours? I see that there's 2 rights of ways. Where does the fuel truck plan to station during fueling, and how long is fueling for you guys?
Sure. So that was another consideration where we have the fuel truck coming in off New Durham Road. The tanks are to the easterly side of the building, but with the understanding that, you know, it's adjacent to residential, our client is agreeable to adding a remote fill, which we show on the plan, where the fuel pump, basically the truck would stage underneath the canopy and then pull back out onto New Durham Road. So we're going to do a remote fill here, which we've done at a number of locations, so the truck isn't near the residential uses.
And Jim, can you just address his other point about the hours, when it would occur? I think that's, you also asked that as well.
Correct. Hours and duration, how long, how many times a week are we expecting it? All those.
So it's going to, 2 to 3 times per week is how often deliveries occur at this site. Our client is a distributor of fuel, so we are agreeable to restricting the hours during non-overnight hours, during daytime hours, during off-peak hours. So we can restrict the date to make sure it's not during overnight. Right now, there's no restriction on when deliveries take place, and we're agreeable to, again, our emphasis on everything is really concerns for the neighbor and really trying to make sure all the activity is during daytime hours.
Okay. And what are your proposal lighting plan for nighttime after closing hours?
We would leave a few security lights on there, and we can work with the board's professionals. We have no issue turning off the lights anywhere close to the residential, and then leaving a few lights on just for security purposes during off-peak hours.
Whatever the board engineer or the police issued a letter saying they had really no concerns about the project, but if they had some recommendations on that issue, we'd be happy to abide by it.
Okay.
Additionally, we could do a 6-month look back as well.
Yeah, that's fine too, where we could see what the lighting is 6 months later, and if the board engineer and planner feel it needs to be adjusted, we could adjust it.
Okay. Thank you for the clarification.
Mr. Chairman?
Zavik?
All right, so this is RB zone, and currently I understand there are a lot of non-conforming, use of the gas fueling and also the non-conforming impervious coverage. The convenience store is not allowed in RB zone, correct?
That's right.
Okay. So you are asking for that relief for adding convenience store. Not only that, you are putting convenience store at a location where the setback is only 4 foot on a Durham Avenue as well as on the Durham Road. By moving that convenience store more towards the residential neighborhood, it would get additional buffer, and it would also be code compliant convenience store.
I don't know if it would, I know what you're saying. I don't know if it would comply with the setback there, but the main.
It's a more wider on that risk by the neighborhood.
Yeah,
I'll highlight where the setbacks are, just so everyone's aware. Like, the setbacks are that area right there. So, I mean, the setbacks, because of the unique shape of the property, really you couldn't add a convenience store along the adjacent, the right-hand side or the easterly side of the building and have anything close to sizable space that a minimum size of a convenience store would be based on the setbacks and all
So
the
you would be looking for setback by the residential side, that side, but not on the Durham Avenue.
It's very hard, and Jim could speak to this, but because of the triangular shape of the property, it's very hard to comply with the set, and also the fact that we have multiple frontages.
I get it, but at the same time, on residential neighborhood on easterly side, now you are putting the 10-foot fence, you have shrubbery there, tall plants, and also now the building would be a buffer against the neighborhood.
Yeah. I don't necessarily think that we're opposed to that. I think it was more of the fact that in the past, there was objection to that from both the board and the public. So what we felt was, when we re-examined the issue with the client and with the project team, was, okay, there was objection to that. How do we resolve that? So we moved the canopy further away from the residential property line to the east. Let me just make sure, yeah, to the east. We made sure that the front of the building opened to the parking lot, and the activity couldn't be seen from the residential, from the road, and we enhanced the buffer on the easterly side. So that was our thought process, sort of based on past experience with the board and with the public.
It would do a number of things. Now, access and egress also would move away from the residential area.
I would let the traffic engineer address
Got
that.
it. And then now,
counter that would-
currently you have the 230,000-gallon gasoline tanks closer to residential neighborhood that you're going to move away from the residence as well by moving the pump away from there. I don't know what
The tanks are underground. I mean, the
don't know what
tanks.
the ordinance is for the gas
Yeah.
fuel tank from the neighborhood.
There's no, I don't think there's a requirement for that, but the tanks would be obviously not visible and underground, and part of the application is also removing tanks that are probably decades old and replacing them with modern standard double fiber wall glass tanks that are.
I get it, but you're going to move it away from the residential neighborhood, more towards the corner, once what they are now.
Okay, no, I understand the comment.
All right, so, and then impervious coverage, you say you're doing better, but the permitted coverage on RB zone is only 40%.
But that's because the standard is for a residential property, right, with a house.
I get
So we're reducing it by 1,000 square feet. If you look at what a impervious coverage requirement would be in a zone that permits commercial activity, it would be significantly higher than 40%.
I get it, but it's still non-conforming.
Yeah, no, there's no doubt. We're making it better, but there's no doubt that it's still above what's permitted. And if we left it the way it was, it would be well beyond what's permitted.
Get it. All right. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Stave.
Oh, one more question. Now, you want to open up the operating hours is 5 to 10 p.m.?
5 a.m. to 10 p.m.,
Do
correct.
you have to open 5 a.m. in the morning? What's the reason? Can you do it at 6 a.m.?
We could ask the client. I mean, I think the purpose of that is to, make sure that people going to work during, can get their cup of coffee and all that. But if the question is, can we open at 6? I'd have to ask the client that question.
Got it. All right. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Stave. Any other questions from the board?
I have a question.
Ms. Knight.
This might be better suited for the traffic engineer, but I was just curious about the location of the curb cuts in relation to the intersection, and if there is a requirement to have that distance, and maybe that's why the site was flipped, or was that contemplated when you thought about the layout of the site?
Yeah, our traffic engineer will get into that, but that's what I was going to say earlier when I believe the board member was mentioning moving the driveway intersections closer to the intersection. Obviously, from a safety perspective, you want to move it as far away from the intersection as possible from a safety perspective, but our traffic engineer will get into that.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Any other questions from the board?
Yes, Chairman. So by looking at this triangular shape, you said there are 19 parking spots available to it?
19 spaces if you consider the spaces underneath the fueling canopy.
So let's take 18. Let's get rid of EV. Now think about, like, there are 3 employees. So think about 3 cars are permanently spot there. There are a couple of trucks coming out of it. There are 4, just assume 4 cars at each and every gas stations. Do you think like it's enough time or enough space around to move around with all those providing this space? I don't see, if you have more than 9 or 10 cars sitting there, it will be a problem, especially in the snow time also.
So our traffic engineer will get into this. We have a very similar layout. We designed the gas stations on the Parkway in Woodbridge. Very similar layout and spacing to what we have here today. This is obviously a lot less. This is a neighborhood convenience store and gas station. It doesn't nearly have the traffic that you're referencing, like you'll have that many cars. I was even out there today. at the gas station, there was no cars on site. at all.
Every weekend I pass through it. I used to have Jersey. There was a name called Jersey gas station before. I used to have a gas station. So I used to use that gas station. Be honest with you, if there are 2 cars there, to move around was a difficult time. Now you're adding a convenience store, 4 gas stations. I expect almost like 4 to 5 cars almost all the time in that property,
Well, Jim,
including 3 employees' car.
Yeah, I think Jim and the traffic engineer should respond to your question, but I just want to ask Jim one thing. Do the drive aisle widths comply with the standards in the ordinance?
Yes.
So for the two-way traffic that you have for both lanes entering and exiting the site, it's 24 feet, correct?
It's a little bit over the 24 feet, approximately 26 feet.
Okay, so how many gas stations have you designed in your career?
Over 100 gas stations.
Okay, so in your professional opinion, do you, and it's a fair question, and I want to make sure that we make the board comfortable with it. The drive aisle widths and the turning maneuvers, and we could have the traffic engineer speak to it as well, but from a site perspective, you believe they meet all industry standards and work well on this site?
Yes.
Okay.
So during your snow removal, where do you stack the stack of the snow? Which part of the property do you stack it?
I mean, there's plenty of areas in the landscaping adjacent to it. You could stockpile it using a skid steer. There's areas to store it on the west side of the building where there's landscaping. So there's areas to store.
And vendor delivery would be at the entrance side or on the back side?
The delivery would be in the front. We'd be using
the front?
a box. Yeah.
Yeah, not on the residential side was your question, right?
Yes.
Yes, okay.
Thank you.
Thanks, John. Any other questions from the board?
Yeah, Mr. Chairman,
Vice Chairman.
can you show on the drawing where you would pile the snow?
So there's a grass area behind.
Folks, please, we're gonna ask the applicant to give you respect when we go to the public portion. Please give them the same respect. Thank you.
So there's a grass area behind the building. Obviously, this large grass area behind the building. Adjacent to the building, and the landscape islands. Also, in certain circumstances, on other sites, I know we have trucked them off as well. If you have like a major storm event like we had this past winter. But during regular storm events, there's plenty of room around the perimeter of the site in the landscaping areas to store the snow. If you have something extreme where you have a foot or 2 of snow, you might have a circumstance where we might have to truck off snow. But during regular storm events, things that we've seen for the last 10 years, this year was particularly bad snow time. And those circumstances, we have tenants that basically truck off the snow off-site because there's not areas to do it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So just for the record, you have received a letter dated today from Fire Chief Andy Toth.
Yes.
Just saying that your proposed site plan is suitable and its requirement related to New Jersey Uniform Fire Code regulations, fire apparatus turning radius. And then also a letter from Township of Edison Police Department, Sergeant Winters. The proposed plan does not directly affect traffic flow and meets ADA parking requirements. Any markings or signage should be in compliance with manual uniform traffic control devices. No further devices needed. You're good with that?
Yes.
And that's dated April 10, 2026.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. All right. Any other questions for Mr. Henry? Oh, Mr. Carley.
Revisit the matter of noise. We did ask for an EIS and subsuming a noise study. Relative to the equipment, Mr. Henry, because of its location on the site and the lack of shielding, when the board was talking about moving the building, I think intuitively they were talking about the building itself being a buffer to the residences. And the building would lend some acoustic shielding to the residences on the other side of it, et cetera, et cetera. But then it would present other problems to those residents because the mass of the building would be on the residents. There'd be a blind alley behind it. And you might have some activities behind the building between your fence line. So where the building is basically a compromise. I am quite sure that Mr. Henry wanted to put those driveways as far away from that intersection as he could. And I'm quite sure that the County of Middlesex suggested that as well, and I would as well. You want your driveways on a site to be very as far away from the intersection as you can get them. Did you accomplish that?
Yes, exactly.
Okay. But it remains that the noise that would be generated by the two vacuums and the air pump where they're located in proximity to that residential line, I don't think you make the state regulation either in the day. There is a daytime regulation.
Correct.
And the nighttime, as Mr. Tuvell said, is largely moot because you're going to be closed. But you're going to want to pay attention to the location of those two mechanical units if they stay on the site at all.
We're agreeable to removing them.
Okay.
So I think that I spoke to my client about that if there was concern prior to this, and he's agreeable to removing them. One other thing, which is a good thing to point out, the state code really applies to mainly like mechanicals and everything else. So the HVAC that we're proposing is on the westerly side of the building facing to the west. And then if the building was moved to the east side, basically the HVAC units would be immediately adjacent to the residential. And that's really where you get into the state noise code. So one of the reasons we moved the building all the way to the west, again, as I mentioned, to keep all the activity, all the noise to the westerly boundary of the property and didn't create any sort of issues. I've worked on convenience stores before at different locations, different towns, like Westfield, for instance, where there was an alley behind and there was concern over people going back there and things of that nature, where you're hidden from view, you're not able to see what they're doing back there. Whereas in this circumstance, you're able to see all four sides of the building. There's no hiding, there's security cameras. All the activity is pushed to the west, away from the residential.
Yeah, and Jim, Nick can speak to this from the curb cuts, but as Mr. Carley indicated, if you flipped it and put the building on the other side and the gas in the front, which I understand the comment, the driveways would then move closer to the intersection.
Yes, they would.
And that's not something that the county would prefer.
No, the county wants to move them as far away. So you can see on the exhibit on A2, there's a dark area where we're removing the two driveways that are closer to the intersection. And we're shifting them, roughly about, 50 feet to the east away from the intersection. So it's an improvement from a safety perspective. I'll let our traffic engineer get into it. But one of the big things in working, with the board engineer as well as the county engineer, they had a lot of discussion about the activity and the driveway locations. We went back and forth with them 2 or 3 times regarding the orientation, the signage, making sure there was no trucks allowed, and then also the intersection, which our traffic engineer will go over as far as the orientation of that. So there was a lot of concern regarding the intersection of Durham Avenue and New Durham Road, which I think we've addressed. We've worked with the county and we've gone back and forth with them a number of times. And then also we've gone back and forth regarding our driveway locations as well, which I think this is the safest kind of driveway design that we can come up with for this layout.
But currently you have 2 access and egress on Durham Avenue and 2 on Durham Road, correct?
So we're reducing there's 4 right now and we're taking it down to 3. So we're improving over the existing conditions. Because the ingress and egress count as 1 on New Durham Road. So we're taking 4 full movement driveways, we're moving them further away from the intersection, and we're reducing 1 of them and reducing them down to 3 driveways.
I get it, but if flipping the building and gas stations, you may not need all 3, you may just need 2 probably at that point, much wider, but they would come in between for the gas station and the convenience store. Would be still away from the corner.
I personally think we've reduced it as much as possible, and I think the orientation we have is the safest to allow for safe vehicle traffic around the canopy as well as the convenience store. Our traffic engineer will be here to testify to that, but as far as site plan layout, having the different accesses and given the circulation around the canopy, I think having those three are as low as we can go.
My biggest concern is that we are adding, another gas, the convenience store, non-conforming. That's my biggest concern. You have 4-foot setback on both roads. That's my biggest concern, unless you want to slim the building and keep it there. 4 foot on both sides, adding another convenience store on this property is non-conforming use, and you are adding non-conforming building. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Any other questions, Mr. Henry? Seeing none? Thank you very much.
Okay.
Mr. Duval?
Thank you.
Our next witness is our traffic engineer, Nicholas Verderisi from Dynamic Traffic.
Okay, do you swear or affirm the testimony you'll give this evening is the whole truth?
I do.
Okay, please state your name and spell it for the record.
Nicholas Verderisi, Verderese.
All right, you want me to
Mr.
go?
Verderisi, if you could please provide the board with a summary of your background qualifications.
Yes, I have a Bachelor of Science degree in Civil Engineering from Rutgers University in 1990. I'm a licensed professional engineer in the state of New Jersey. I've appeared before both boards here in Edison Township in the past.
And your license is current and good standing?
Yes.
You may proceed. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, Nick, you prepared a traffic impact study dated November 21st, 2025 in connection with this application?
Correct.
And you've also reviewed the site plan and assisted in the preparation of the site plan?
Yes.
And you also met with the county and the township regarding the intersection improvements that the application proposes?
Yes, I think we met with the county 5 separate occasions.
Okay. Why don't you break down your testimony into trip generating, on-site circulation, the off-site improvements, and then also touch on parking as well?
I'm going to start with the on-site circuit, since Jim was talking about that, that's kind of fresh in everyone's mind, just to stay on some of the same topics that we've all been discussing and there have been questions on. So as far as the access, Jim had talked about some of the reduction in our access. So we're reducing the sizes of the driveway. The current driveways are almost 40 feet wide today, wide open, no striping, no signage, 4 full movement driveways, 2 on both roadways. And as you heard, a lot closer. The nearer driveway is actually to the west of Yolanda Drive. And now we've placed all the driveways to the east of Yolanda Drive, which serves a rather large residential community to the north there. So we've kind of taken the interaction that there is now with that intersection, as well as the main intersection. I'll get into some of the improvements we propose, which are going to have rather significant impacts, and you'll hear that later in my testimony. So as far as the driveways, we've done an excellent job here. There was a question as to could we reduce the number of driveways? I don't know that we could with that alternate plan that we had just been discussing, just because you wouldn't be able to get around the canopy if it was to the left of the driveway. At least I don't think you could. We haven't done that exercise, but I would anticipate there still being 3 or 4 curb cuts in that other scenario. And again, closer to the intersection at New Durham Road and Durham Avenue. As far as parking, you heard testimony, there's 11 actual striped parking stalls, 8 fueling positions underneath the canopy. Generally, what we see for this type of use in studies we've been doing for a long time, 25% or so of the customers get gas and use convenience on their same trip. So what that does is it reduces trips because you don't have someone coming here for gas and then going somewhere else for convenience items, and they can do both together. So there is that component that utilizes the spaces underneath the canopy. I'm more than comfortable with the number of parking stalls. The employees generally, we've done a number of gas stations. I've been involved with probably 20 with this client alone. And very rarely do you have Any employees that are parked on the site, generally they get there either by mass transit or they're dropped off at the site, or they might live in the area, walk, or maybe bike to the site as well. So there's not a lot of parking from the 3 employees. I would anticipate maybe one of those 3 people having a vehicle. So that leaves 10 full parking spaces available for customers. Again, I'm more than comfortable. There's only one fuel attendant under and 2 in the building. And this is a neighborhood small. It's less than half the size of what you would see at a Quick Check or a Wawa facility, which are the more modern, have a lot more products, get a lot more traffic, a lot more truck traffic for deliveries. This is really a mom and pop style convenience store. And I'm going to get into the trip generation later, but this site, as an 8 fueling position gas station, generates about half of the traffic of a typical 8 fueling position gas station. So it, again, kind of proving out that this is really serving a neighborhood here and serving pass-by. Obviously, we get 50% of the traffic here is already passing by. So the people that use this are generally driving by already. So you don't get a lot of new traffic to this type of facility. But you get people from the neighborhood and you get people passing by. And it's just not a high-performing site. We don't anticipate this to all of a sudden jump from what we consider maybe a little bit lower performing to being your standard site. But in our analysis, we assume this is a full-on highway convenience store with gas in all our traffic volumes. So everything we've done here has been conservative on the analysis side.
Yeah, so Nick, just to stick to the circulation, you believe that the placement of the driveways, moving them further away from the intersection, is a significant improvement, correct?
Absolutely.
Okay. And then also with respect to the drive aisle widths and the maneuverability, the turning radiuses on the property, can you just opine on how you believe that's been designed?
Yes. So as Jim mentioned, I think we have 24 to 26 foot wide aisles, 26 foot wide driveways, which is your standard. Almost every ordinance in the state of New Jersey, it's that. All the industry standards are 24 foot wide aisles, standard parking stall sizes. We're not looking for any variances on any of the design elements of the circulation system on the property.
So if customers are parked and fueling, or customers are simultaneously parked in a parking space, everyone can flow throughout the site in an appropriate manner?
Correct. And the nice thing about having the multiple driveways, you don't have a lot of people that need to cross east and west on the property, most of them are driving north and south.
All right, and all of the parking spaces comply with industry standards?
Correct.
As well as the ADA stall?
Yes.
Okay. All right, can you speak to the driveways as on site as it relates to site distance?
Yeah, so the sight lines are good in this area. The roadway's straight across this property frontage. If you do go to the west, that's where you start to see a curve in the roadway. I'll talk about that a little bit more when I talk about the intersection improvements and some of the limited sight lines that currently exist.
And does tightening up the driveways or making them a little bit narrower, in your opinion, does that provide a benefit also?
It does. It'll help reduce conflicts. When you have wide open driveways, people have a tendency to not follow the center line. There's no striped center line, so you get people wandering in the driveway. So we've well defined with stop bars and striping and concrete aprons with asphalt drive aisles. So it's well defined and easy for people to get on and off of the property.
Okay. Do you want to now speak to trip generation?
I can. Yeah, I'll get into that. There was a couple other questions from the board I want to hit on, but
Sure,
I'll hit
go ahead.
that while I do my study. So we did a traffic impact study. We did counts back in April of 25. We looked at 3 different peak hours, your typical commuter peak hours during the weekday, 7 to 9 a.m., 4:30 to 6:30 p.m., and then we will typically, for commercial uses, do the midday on Saturday. That's generally the highest traffic volumes on the adjacent roadways. This type of use, has its highest activity happens when the roadway is active, because it's drawing 50 to 60% of the people off of the roadway. As you move out of the peak hour, if you don't have as many people passing by, you don't have as many people using a gas station or a convenience store. So this is, well situated. It's just east of the 287 ramps. So it picks up people as they're, looking to get onto 287 or get off, to circulate to, if they live to the east of the property, they can utilize the site in the morning for gas or convenience items. So we did those traffic counts. So we identified existing conditions. The counts were done at the existing site. They were done at the intersection of Yolanda and Durham Avenue, as well as New Durham and Durham Avenue intersection. We also pulled crash data. So I went through the crash data. We got it for about a 4-year period. Just intersections, there were other ones outside of the influence of the intersection of New Durham and Durham. There were about 50 crashes in that 4-year period. A good amount of them, so more than half, were rear-end crashes on Durham Avenue. So, and the reason behind that is you have an intersection that operates at overcapacity condition on Durham Avenue. So people are waiting for a rather long period of time, generally get a little bit frustrated, and maybe they're a little more aggressive, and you have rear-end crashes there. The other crashes at the intersection, there's a few side swipes at the intersection. You have a number of right-angle crashes where someone's turning right or left out of Durham Avenue or turning left into.
Can you just point where that?
Oh, yeah, we'll go to that other exhibit. Has that been entered?
Yeah, the bottom one, yes.
If you could just bring the microphone with you.
I got him.
I'll use the pointer, I prefer.
And you're relying on Exhibit A3, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
So again, the crashes that we mostly saw, again, I said rear-end crashes on Durham. So if you're traveling, I'll call it south on Durham, calling New Durham Road east-west at that intersection. You had some crashes that were right angles, so either someone making a right or a left out of Durham Avenue, crashing with someone along New Durham, someone making a left turn in. You had a couple side swipes of people waiting to make a left, someone bypassing. There was maybe a weird crash. There's some, where people hit a curb or whatever. So those are the outliers. But the ones that relate to the intersection, rear-end crashes aren't as severe. You generally don't end up with casualties or major injuries on the rear ends. It's the right angle crashes that seem to have the primary casualty rate or the higher casualty rate or incident rate. So what we're able to do at the intersection, and I guess I'll go into the improvement plan. You want me to do that now? Talk a little bit more about the study first.
Yeah, I would do the trip generation.
All right, so I'll go into the trip generation. So as I said earlier, we did traffic counts. So at the site today, and I have to say, there were a handful during our counts of people actually cutting through the property. So I'm representing it all as if they came onto the property to use the gas. But in the morning peak hour, you had about 20 people coming and going in that 1 hour period, whereas I'll say a normal or an average gas station of this size would have about 90 or 45 customers. There were only 20 in this instance. In the evening peak hour, we had about 35 people come on and off of the property. You would have maybe 55 to 60 at a standard 8 fueling position gas station. And then on Saturday, we had about 35, I'll use a round number, 35 customers, and you'd have upwards of 50 typically on a Saturday. So again, it's a lighter generating site, but in all of our analysis, we utilize standard trip generation. So I would say we overestimated the future traffic volumes that the site will have on it.
And then can you speak to the current or existing levels of service, and then what your improvements do to change that or make that an improvement over what exists today?
I can. I'll start with the driveways. So we do, after we get our existing counts, then we look at our future condition. We surcharge that onto the roadways. And then so we have what we call a pre-build or a no-build, and then a build. So it's after the site is operational, and we do that comparison. That's what our attorney is referencing when he talks about before and after on the analysis. So we did analysis of the driveways, acceptable levels of service. We're along a county road that carries 1,300 to 1,400 peak hour vehicles along it. We're generating maybe 50 vehicles in and out of the site during a peak hour on average. So we're a small percentage of the traffic in the surrounding area. But our analysis shows good levels of service at all 4 driveways in the proposed condition.
So based on what exists today versus what we're proposing, which is adding the convenience store and reorienting the gas canopy, all levels of service operate at an appropriate or acceptable level?
Correct.
All right. Can you explain what happens to the level of service at the intersection of New Durham Road and Durham Avenue based on the proposed changes that the applicant is willing to do at the intersection?
Yes, so I'll talk about before we do anything. So in the morning peak hour, our analysis shows if you're traveling on Durham Avenue, coming to the intersection, the average vehicle would wait 358 seconds. So do that math, what's that, 6 minutes. So 6 minutes on average.
Right now, if nothing else occurred.
Correct. In the evening, it's about 200 seconds of delay. So a failing level of service again, 200 seconds of delay. On Saturday, it's a not failing, it's an E level of service. So it's a scale of A to F of 42 seconds. So that would be acceptable on Saturday because traffic volumes are probably 25% to 30% lower on the surrounding roadways on the Saturday versus the AM and the PM.
All right, so before we talk about the result of the improvements, why don't you describe what the improvements are, kind of expand off of what Jim testified to, and why you think that why they better the area from a traffic perspective?
So before I do, I'm sure everyone's familiar with it. Here's the existing intersection. You could see
on A3 again, right?
Yes, A3. I'm still on A3. The Durham Avenue approach comes in at a significant acute angle, maybe 30 to 35 degrees. You know, we love to have intersections at 90 degrees. Provides for the best and safest geometry. This intersection's been here a long time. That's how it's operated for all these years. When we started working on this job, one of the first things we looked at, and we started conversations with the county as well as the township engineer, what can we do here to try to, 2 things. One is help the operation of the intersection, so get people through the intersections a little quicker, and as well, and maybe more importantly, the safety of the intersection, how we can bring down crashes at the intersection. So what we came up with.
And Nick, just again to describe it, the angle of the intersection, what safety issues does that present? Just explain that again.
Yeah, so the main safety issue is your sight line. So when you come to an intersection and you're at a significant angle, so if I'm at an angle to the dais now, if I want to see the dais, I have to now look well over my shoulder to see what's going on. If I'm 90 degrees to the intersection, I only have to look 90 degrees, where I have to look over 90, over my shoulder. So if you're exiting Durham Avenue and you look back to the left on New Durham Road, you have to look well over your shoulder. Also, while contending with, and you can't see it on the exhibit, the roadway curves back up to the north. So there's some limited sight line in that direction. So now you're confronted with some issue in both directions at the intersection. We can't fix the curve in the road, but we're trying to do some things to improve the angle of the intersection as well as moving the vehicle further from the curve of the road. So now I'm on A4.
And these are the improvements that you've been working on with the county and with the township engineer?
Yes, I think we've done 10 different iterations of this and had 5 meetings, and this is the latest plan we have that seems to have gotten the buy-in from the township engineer as well as the county's traffic engineer. So just to orient everyone, this is oriented the same as all the previous exhibits. New Durham Road runs east-west on the bottom, and Durham Avenue comes in from the top.
And just for the stenographer, this is A4, right?
A4. So I'm going to start way to the right. So there's a gray area you see on the right of the plan. Currently, there's grass there in that area. So that's for what we're able to do is anyone that's traveling, it's a small number, but anyone traveling west on New Durham Road that wants to make a right turn onto Durham Avenue in the existing condition comes up to what I'm pointing to now, the much narrower area as far as the radius, and has to make a longer turn to get back to the east.
And in your opinion, is that a difficult turn?
Yes, and what happens there, that part of the intersection is really wide because for a vehicle to make a right turn, it needs to swing well out around the radius. We're cleaning that up by moving it and having a larger radius and moving that all to the east. And what we've done is now taken the right turns in out of the intersection, so we've reduced some conflicts there. Also, what that was able to let us do, we were able to move all of the egress vehicles, which currently, I'll call it egress, but the Durham Avenue vehicles that want to turn onto New Durham, we're providing a striped area up near the curb line where before the vehicles traversed all the way up against the curb, and the center line was here pretty much where the left turn, where our right turn lane is proposed. So what we were able to do is move those turning movements into the center of that 100-foot area and provide a small left turn lane for those handful of vehicles that make a left, because I'm sure everyone knows here in the audience, if there's one person making a left in front of you there, you're stuck behind them if they don't scoot themselves out far enough into the intersection. So what we were able to do is separate the lefts and the rights. So that alone improves operation of the intersection. And then the geometry, because now we're bringing vehicles in at more of a 90-degree at the intersection. It'll improve their sight line looking in both directions because you'll be teed up to the intersection. And it'll be a significant benefit. It's a lot of paint. We're going to put a crosswalk in as well for pedestrians through here. We feel it's going to provide a significant benefit to the intersection, and it comes along with the project. So while there may be some additional activity from the project, even with that additional activity, but with this improvement, we've significantly reduced the delays. I talked about the delay before in the morning of being 6 minutes. We cut 100 seconds, so almost 2 minutes off of that. So we cut a third of the delay off of that movement coming out of Durham Avenue. And in the evening peak hour, we cut that by a third. So the delay was almost 200 seconds, and we'd be down to 60 seconds per vehicle. So again, a significant improvement. And the safety improvement isn't even factored into those numbers, but there's a significant safety improvement by squaring up this intersection.
And just expand on that again, does that have to do with the sight distance that you described earlier?
Yeah, so we've moved those vehicles further from the curve in the road to the west, squared them up so they have an easier, what you typically would see. So drivers have difficulty, where they have difficulty is when they come somewhere in a situation that isn't typical to what they're used to doing in a driving situation, and pulling up to an intersection at 30 degrees isn't something people are typically used to doing. They're typically used to pulling up closer to 90, and that's what we're able to do here.
Okay, so in your professional opinion, this creates a much safer condition from what exists today, and would it mitigate some of the traffic and also crash issues that you previously discussed?
Yes.
Okay. And then from a trip generation perspective or just a delay, cars will be waiting significantly less time to make a turn at that intersection.
Yes, they will.
So cars will be able to make safer turns and be able to make them in a more efficient manner.
Yes.
All right. And then can you now just speak again to the pedestrian improvements over there as well?
Yeah, so currently today, I think there's one ramp, but there's not a receiving ramp on the other side. There's no crosswalk. So any pedestrian that comes here has to try to almost traverse this blind across the intersection. Now we have a nice striped area. And if you happen to be wheelchair bound, we have safe ADA accessibility across the intersection as well.
Right. So the ramps have been designed, I'm assuming, in conjunction with county standards for ADA improvements.
Yes.
Okay. So overall, from a traffic perspective, both on the site and off the site, you believe the project provides significant benefits to the surrounding area?
Absolutely.
Okay. Okay. Mr. Chairman, that's all I have for Mr. Verderisi.
Does the board have any questions for Mr. Verderisi?
Mr. Chair, I have a question.
Chapa.
So we have a left lane and a right lane from Durham Avenue, and if I were to go to New Durham Road, I'd be on the left lane, correct?
Ask that again.
Sure.
please. I'm
So
sorry.
you're splitting up the traffic, right? People don't want to make a right turn towards 287, stay on the right. If you want to go left towards Metuchen, you take New Durham Road, you stay to the left, the center lane.
Correct.
Now, I've seen a lot of people in this area. They like to inch up. So now, since we're diverting the traffic, the person that's trying to take a left turn, what if they keep inching up? And then I'm coming from New Durham Road and I'm trying to make a left turn onto Durham Avenue. That's an issue, right? Because I've seen that a lot of times.
We looked at the turning templates. Even if the vehicle was pushed up into the crosswalk, you could make the left turn in. And actually, I didn't even bring it up, and thank you for bringing it up. The angle of the intersection also, what it's creating now is people that turn from New Durham going east onto Durham Avenue travel at a high rate of speed because of the angle of the intersection. We've now taken the angle out and they have to traverse it now in a normal manner where you typically make a left turn in studies about 15 miles per hour, where now they're traveling 40 miles per hour plus because they can make that turn so easily because of the angle.
What's the speed drop from 287 to this intersection? I think it drops down from like 50 or 45 to like 25, right?
It's right in this area, it's still 40.
It's still 45?
Folks, please let the witness respond to the question.
In our data, it showed 45. As you
Okay.
approach the
I mean, I see the issue I've seen personally is I'm driving, someone in front of me, not familiar with the area, they'll jam on their brakes because the GPS will say turn left. And now someone's from Durham Avenue is coming. Now, I can see this is a much better improvement of what's there right now. I completely agree with that, but this is something where I would definitely feel like a traffic light would be the resolution for this intersection. And further making the use of the building, increasing the use and causing more people to come to the area, I do think that's steering more towards the direction of having a traffic light or something there, because I see a big concern there with the people that are making the left turn going east on New Durham Avenue.
So when you met with the county, does the county analyze whether a traffic light is required? And is there a method, an industry or a engineering methodology to figure that out?
There is. One of the reasons why this wouldn't meet the warrants for the traffic signal, when you have a T intersection, the key component of the warrant is the left turn out of the side street. That volume is too low. So
Okay.
it's essentially a right turn out with some lefts. So the county, I don't even know, even if I presented it to them, I couldn't show a warrant that was met, so I don't know that the county would approve a traffic
Okay.
signal. And likely why there's never been one installed in all these years, knowing, I'm sure the police department knows that there were 50 crashes in 4 years, at this intersection. Yes, so I understand traffic lights are great for getting people out of side streets, but generally it's for people trying to make a left, right turn out, because you only have to contend with one direction. For the right turn.
And I know the police department opined that they were okay with the project, but what was the county's goal as well in terms of just making sure these improvements were done this way?
Oh, yeah, I mean, they understand there's a safety and capacity issue at the intersection. And they were all over an improvement here. Like I said, I think I did 10 different concepts to them, and this is where we got to provide a nice improvement, again, that comes along with the project. So this improvement, without the project, isn't an improvement that is constructed fully by the developer. So it's something 100% borne by the developer. There's, roadway improvements, curb work, a lot of striping. It's not an insignificant improvement. There's ADA improvements across the intersection as well. And the impact from the project, the Durham Avenue approach to the intersection gets very few customers of this store. Because if you want to turn right or left onto New Durham, why would you contend with 300 seconds of delay on Durham Avenue when you would just pull out directly onto New Durham Road? So this project has almost no impact to the worst movement at the intersection, which is Durham Avenue.
And all of the level of service analysis that you did in the build condition contemplates the C-store being added to the existing, or the proposed, rather, gas station.
Correct.
Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Davey?
So currently, the traffic that goes from Durham Avenue towards the Talmadge doesn't have to stop. They can go straight at this time. Currently.
I don't understand which movement you're talking about.
Just
The
repeat.
traffic that goes from Durham Avenue to the gas station, passing the gas station, goes straight toward the Talmadge Road, is not stopping at this time.
No.
But now, you're adding now people to stop at the junction here. He has to go this way. Now he has to stop and go, right? So now traffic is going to go more back up on Durham Avenue, no?
Everyone we're stopping on Durham Avenue has to stop today.
No, I get it, but they don't have to stop here and cut again.
30 degrees, not 90.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I don't think I'm understanding what.
Why don't you repeat, and we'll try to answer.
So the traffic that goes from here, Durham Avenue, currently it goes straight, right?
No, there's a stop sign. It stops.
I get it, but the stop sign and it goes, right?
Yes.
Now, with this modification, now it has to come here and stop, right?
Yeah, it just stops, but now it stops at a 90 degree instead of a 30.
And then make left.
And make a right. But it does the same thing. It stops at the stop bar and makes a right.
It's
just
not
at a
going to
different
create
angle.
more congestion on
No,
on
less.
Durham Ave?
No, why don't we go through that again? Because if I didn't make that point well, I'll try to make it this time. Right now, if you go to that intersection in the busiest time, how long do you wait? Now, because that's your, yeah.
In the morning, 6 minutes.
So it's in the traffic report, you could see it. It's 358 seconds, correct?
Yes.
Which is 6 minutes. If we make the improvements that we're making, because I understand your concern, you're saying, well, if you make these, are people going to wait longer?
Correct.
If we make these improvements, then how long do people wait?
4.5 minutes.
So it's like a minute and a half improvement or an efficiency in the.
Yeah. It's a 30% plus improvement in the
There
operation.
still would be a stop sign, though.
Always be a stop sign, yes.
But you said not significant delay. in
It'll
traffic
improve in
congestion
the
to run.
delay
It
because
would
we've
improve.
separated the
Yeah,
lefts and the rights.
you would wait much less time, correct, than you would today. So it actually, the concern you have, we're actually improving it and making it better.
Improving, yes.
Okay, all right, okay.
This is probably for Jason, I think. So.
Uh-oh.
No, you're fine. So right now, if you're traveling west on New Durham Road, and as proposed, there's that little curve to turn into, to get into Durham Avenue. That's on the applicant's property, correct?
No, there's a big section of right-of-way there,
Okay,
so it's in the right-of-way.
okay, that was my question.
Yeah, so the county has approved us making those improvements at our expense.
Right.
In their right of way to make this improvement.
Okay, and that part of that triangle is still the right-of-way that goes west of that turn, correct?
You mean to the?
Yes,
Yeah, and you're going to put greenery there, you're going to put grass or shrubs there?
you're talking about the island.
Yeah, the island.
Between the two directions.
Yes.
there. Yes.
Okay.
That'll be a green island.
Okay, again, it's right away, but you're gonna take care of it, your client will take care of that, correct?
Yeah, it would be part of our county approval.
Okay,
Yeah, we'd have to bond for it, et cetera, yes.
all right, thank you. Okay.
Any other questions? Seeing none.
Might want to wait for Charlie, he just came back. Oh.
Mr. Carley? Yes, please. If you could get that microphone on you.
I did try to be better, I'm sorry. Yeah, again, I want to go through the process that Mr. Verderisi and Dynamic have gone through with the Municipal Engineering Department and the County Engineering Department. You submitted your traffic impact study and the first version of the intersection layout back in December of last year.
Correct.
How many revisions have you gone through?
Well, you've probably only seen 5, but I probably did 10.
Okay. The concept that the board has in front of it now, which is very recently dated, what is because the board, they're going to make a decision on traffic patterns based on the concept that's in front of them today, that's April of 2026. What do you think are the chances that that'll be modified even further so that this is really what the board is looking at, and down the road it won't get further modified? What's your comfort level with it?
The last one that the county looked at and approved didn't have as large of a striped area, so on the west side. What we were able to do with this new plan, we were able to pull away from that curb line, so there's someone's driveway even up in that area. So our right turn is further away. Again, to what we were able to do with the left in the former plan, which was to tee it up to the intersection, we were better able to do it with the right by bringing it in. So we think this is going to be well received by the county, this new plan.
Okay. Do you require any easements on properties along New Durham or on Durham Avenue?
No, all the work is in the right of way.
Okay. And in your opinion, the proposed driveways are as far away from that intersection as you can possibly get them?
Yes.
And your cuts with the roads do conform to standards, both Middlesex County and Township of Edison?
Yes, in my testimony, I talked about how we were able to get everything actually west of Yolanda Drive.
Okay. And
Yolanda Drive, I apologize.
Now, the issue with with noise generation on the, I'll say, the mechanical devices, not your HVAC or anything like that, the mechanical devices that are currently shown on the eastern part of the property, does they're in what had been the bank parking. Now, the bank parking, of course, does give the board a lot more considerate, or does give them additional, I don't know, the lens, I think it gives them potentially a deeper consideration because that's adjacent to the house. Is there a way you think that the parking works without the bank parking?
I'd still like to see a couple of those parking spaces if they were needed by the employees. I'd be comfortable that the 5 along the front and the parking under the canopy is going to handle the customers for the store.
Yeah.
But I guess we could do, like I think the planner mentioned before, a look back. That could be something the board could consider that could potentially increase the buffer in that area.
Yeah, I mean, we could, I guess, to the point that was made earlier about the I guess it's the east side of the property. If the board felt we shouldn't build a couple of those spaces and put more landscaping, we could do that. And then if they felt in the future we needed them, you could always have it, ready to build if necessary.
Yeah, that's a discussion that you'll want to have with the board and particularly Mr. Ayotte, because he'd be the enforcing agent subsequent to a resolution. And that's about it relative to on-site circulation, Mr. Chairman. It's very straightforward. Everything goes in a circular manner. Everything's aligned to the building, parallel and perpendicular. I believe Dynamic has done what Mr. Verderisi says he's done. They've gotten those driveways as far away from that key intersection as they can, and they have committed to an investment in the intersection. And I was taking a bio break, Mr. Verderisi, when Mr. Tuvell was talking about the process with the county. I'm sure you did a warrant analysis with the county relative to a signal. Is that correct?
Yeah, I talked about that a little when you weren't here, I think.
Yeah, okay.
That we wouldn't meet a warrant because the small volume of left turns out of the side street.
Yeah, and what a warrant analysis is, and I'll rely on you to correct me when I'm wrong, not if I'm wrong. A warrant analysis is what warrants a traffic signal, whether there's fatalities at an intersection, what relative to volumes of flow in the intersection, the various legs of the intersection. And I believe there's 5 or 6, Mr. Verderisi?
If you add in, there's more because there's A's and B's to some. So yeah, there's more than.
This doesn't meet any of those criteria?
No.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Carley. Any other questions for Mr. Verderisi? Seeing none, thank you very much.
Welcome.
Could we take like a 2-minute break? Is that okay?
I was going to say a 5-minute break.
5 minutes, that's fine, but I leave it to you.
You caught me in a good mood. Yeah, so we're going to take a 5-minute break. Thank you.
Okay.
Board will return to session. Mr. Tuvell.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I think based on the feedback we got from the board on some of the comments that we, that we had during the course of the hearing, I'd like to adjourn and have the ability to address some of those comments in an updated submittal so we could speak to those. And then I want my planner to testify on the ultimate final plan that we've, hopefully we'll do our best to address the comments that the board had. And then we could then go from there. So that's what I'd like to do. If there's a new date we could have, and we'll get plans in well in advance of that meeting.
Okay, Madam Secretary.
Mr. Chairman, just one.
Mr.
more.
Dave.
Can I add? So while you do that,
Yes.
we were thinking again on moving the building more closer to the residential neighborhood. Even you just swap where the canopy is now away from the residential neighborhood and switch the canopy to convenience store, convenience to the canopy. This way, I'm just trying to see a more code compliant conforming building on the property.
This is what I would tell you. We will look at that.
Correct.
I think the issue is going to be, based on what Mr. Henry and Mr. Verderisi stated, that the driveway configuration that the county feels is the most appropriate, and I think Mr. Carley alluded to this as well, you will not get the safest driveway configuration. But what I'll tell you this, we will look at it to make sure we've explored that issue.
So, all right, so I want you.
The board is in session. If you could please be quiet or take your conversations out of the chamber. Thank you.
I want you to study that because when you just flip the convenience store and canopy,
Yes.
I think you're going to not touch the driveway probably.
So-
But you got to study it.
Here's the answer.
You have the
I promise you, we will examine it and have an answer on it for you.
Okay, thank you.
Sure.
Madam Secretary.
With the pending revisions, we can offer the June 30th agenda date, if that's good for you and your professionals.
That's
Mr.
good.
Tuvell.
That's good.
Okay, great. So for anyone here present, anyone listening at home, this case will be carried to Tuesday, June 30th, 2026, with the meeting beginning at 7 p.m. here in council chambers. If you received a notice, you will not receive another notice. This will serve as your notice. Folks, thank you so much for coming out. Thank you for your patience with us. This meeting you will have a chance to speak when this is carried on June 30th. Thank you very much.
If there's an extension needed through June 30th, we're happy to provide it.
All right, thank you.
Okay.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Okay. No, you cannot.
Hold on a second. Please. The process is that the hearing will be continued to June 30th, and at that point, there'll be a time for public comment and to ask questions as well of the same witnesses. There will be a plan presented with some changes, modifications possibly. That will be your opportunity to address this plan, okay? Please. You didn't waste time. You had you heard the application. It wasn't a waste of your time.
You will have a full. Yeah,
When you come,
absolutely.
yes.
It's part of the lead, and I'm not an attorney, but no, but I'm telling you, I've been on this board long enough. Part of the procedure is you are guaranteed your right to speak. You will be afforded your right to speak. You sat and listened to the applicant, you will have your right to speak. I guarantee you that. It's part of the law, and
it will happen.
It'll happen, absolutely. Thank you so much for your patience.
Thank you. All right, thank you, Mr. Terrell.
All right. Madam Secretary, case 3 on the agenda?
Case number Z8 2024, ultimate collision at 1115 Route 1.
Folks, if you could just please be quiet while leaving the chamber.
Where is he?
Do we know where Mr. Shire is?
If not.
Yeah, I think Mr. Shire left.
Well, that's unfortunate because we need him to consent to the time to act. But we can do that follow-up, Chris. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
And also, I mean, I wanted him here so I could request updated engineering plans because his site plan is from 2024 and it doesn't reflect current conditions.
I can communicate with him that he needs to get updated plans as well as make the request for the extension of time. If not, he'll have to come back
And renotice.
and renotice.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much.
All right.
All right. Madam Secretary, next case on the agenda.
Okay, case number Z36, 2025, PSE&G at 19 to 21 Meridian Road and 1750 Oak Tree Road.
Good evening, members of the board. Nice to see you again this week. Rebecca Mariello on behalf of the applicant, PSE&G, for Z36-2025. We're respectfully requesting that this case be adjourned to the May 12th hearing, preferably higher up or the highest spot on the hearing, preferably, if possible. And we also will grant the board all the extensions and sign any necessary paperwork with respect to that.
So consent the board time to act.
Yes, thank
Okay,
you.
till the end of May?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Madam Secretary?
So we'll carry this matter to the May 12th agenda.
Yes.
Okay, all right, so for anyone here present, anyone listening at home, this case, Z36, 2025, PSE&G at 19-21 Meridian Road and 1750 Oak Tree Road will be carried to Tuesday, May 12th, 2026, with a meeting beginning at 7 p.m. here in council chambers. If you received a notice, you will not receive another notice. This will serve as your notice.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, and thank you so much for your patience. We greatly appreciate
Thank you.
it.
Have a
Thank
great
you.
evening.
Do you want to make this thing for alternate as well?
Sure. So just for the record, reflects case 3, Z8, 2024, ultimate collision at 1115 Route 1. It will not be heard this evening. It is being carried to Tuesday, June 30th, with a meeting beginning at 7 p.m. here at council chambers. If you received a notice, you will not receive another notice. This will serve as your notice. This case will be carried to June 30th at 7 p.m. here in council chambers. Madam Secretary, any other business come before the board this evening?
That'll be all for this evening.
Can I get a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn. Second.
Motion by Mr. Sadata, seconded by Mr. Padel. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. The ayes have it. Board stands adjourned. Thank you.
Not staying.